Our story starts in Xinyue County, at a pavilion inside the Yang family manor. An elf checks out a baby. After checking the boy, his father asked about his condition. The elf told the man his son's constitution made it hard for him to live past 20. This is Yang Daimyong, the Yang family patriarch. Daimyong asked if the heavens punished his son, explaining his birth caused his mother's death. The elf got annoyed. He couldn't believe Daimyong said that to a physician. He asked the patriarch why he'd say such a thing about his son, who's dying young. Daimyong glared at his child after hearing that. He watched him play alone. The elf said the boy had something like the 9 insevered meridians, and he'd never seen anyone with such an open Baihui acupoint. Daimyong asked if the Baihui acupoint was on top of the head. The physician confirmed it. He told the patriarch that an overly open Baihui acupoint means death. Most people call it deity ascension. Daimyong reminded the elf that deity ascension is for powerful Taoists going to the heavenly realm. The physician was surprised, asking if the patriarch really believed that nonsense. He put his hand on his head, asking the man if he'd heard about absolute martial masters using their head's upper meridians, which are actually the Baihui acupoint. The elf explained that so-called deity ascension happens when someone gets too much energy from heaven and earth and dies because they can't handle it. Daimyong stood up after hearing this. He told the elf he was right about his son's heavenly punishment. The physician was shocked, asking the man why he'd call himself a father. The patriarch told the elf it was time to leave, assuring him the chief steward would pay him. The elf said he didn't need the pay. He stood up and angrily left the pavilion. As he walked, the elf wondered how different our protagonist's life would be if he was born elsewhere. In the demonic cult, he could be the heavenly demon. In Shaolin Temple, he'd master 72 elite training methods twice over, but he was born a hated child here. The physician believed the boy would die young in the countryside with no chance of survival. This baby's only hope is self-enlightenment. Decades later, we see a family meeting at the young manor. Daimyong stood, telling everyone his deceased father, Xianjiamzi, a Zhongnan sect disciple, founded their clan. Daimyong said he dedicated his life to reviving their clan. He explained he couldn't close their clan because if they became world famous, he'd inherit the Zhongnan sect's ultimate technique. The patriarch told his family he was happy one of his sons followed his father's path and joined the Zhongnan sect. Smiling, the other family members congratulated their brother. The eldest child told his brother joining the sect was incredible. Daimyong asked his children to raise their cups with him. While everyone enjoyed themselves, the eldest sibling noticed someone was missing. He turned to his father, saying Yanshin wasn't there. Daimyong's expression turned serious. He told his son he'd asked Yanshin to stay on the training ground. The man was shocked. Daimyong told his son it was better for our boy not to be at such a joyous occasion. He said Yanshin would bring bad luck. The man couldn't believe his father said that. The scene shifts, showing our boy gathering energy on the training ground. He carefully circulated his energy. He immediately opened his eyes and released his energy. Afterward, Yanshin looked at his palm. He realized he'd completely mastered the young clan's movement art. With this art, Yanshin could stimulate and compress his muscles with energy. He realized his body couldn't get stronger. Yanshin wondered if a stronger body meant a longer lifespan. While thinking, he recalled his brother's reaction when he mentioned creating a new martial arts technique. Yanshin explained he hadn't created it from scratch, but redeveloped their clan's exclusive martial arts. His brother sighed, asking Yanshin not to be offended, but to keep his new technique a secret from everyone. This surprised Yanshin. The scene changed to Yanshin urging his brother to use his martial arts. Annoyed, his brother asked if Yanshin would take responsibility if he died from energy deviation. Yanshin felt terrible hearing that. When he told his father, he got scolded for messing with their clan's exclusive martial arts. His father asked if he thought he was the clan's founder. Yanshin couldn't believe his own father just dismissed him. Sitting on a chair, he pondered what being a clan founder meant. It's someone who creates martial arts and establishes a martial group. He never saw himself as that great. Creating martial arts didn't seem incredible to him. He just wanted to be healthy and live with everyone. While lost in thought, Yanshin saw servants rushing somewhere. He wondered where they were headed. Then he remembered it was the day the Zhongnan sect's martial masters would arrive. The Zhongnan sect is one of the 9 great sects. They're known as one of Shaanxi's strongest groups, alongside the Manhua sect, forming twin walls. Yanshin remembered the Zhongnan sect as home to sword deities. He also wanted to meet the martial masters. That thought brought back what the chief steward told him. Yanshin had asked if his mother's death was why he couldn't face important clan guests. The steward said his father gave the order. Yanshin asked if he was sure. The steward apologized to him. Yanshin still couldn't believe his father issued such an order. He decided to follow the servants and watch from a distance. He was sure he'd learn something from the skilled masters. At the manor entrance, the servants wondered who was arriving. They were certain the Sky Sword Dragon wouldn't come. They thought an elder might visit the manor. One servant said it would be a blessing for their clan if an elder came. As the servants chatted, Damyang and his family stepped outside. Right then, someone screamed that the martial masters had arrived. Immediately after that, an elf and 2 other men entered the compound. Clan members and Damyang's children were shocked to see the elf. One servant called the elf a noble race. Yanxin was also shocked by the elf. The noble race is a mysterious race, known to live forever. Humans see them as deities. He and his family noticed the elf's unique energy. Yanxin saw her body's core energy naturally exuding. Damyang quickly composed himself, welcoming the elf to his clan. He told her he was honored by her visit. He and his son bowed to greet the martial masters. He introduced himself as the clan's patriarch. The woman thanked him for his hospitality. She introduced herself as Yoyal Shin, an elder of the Zhongnan sect. Damyang was shocked. He couldn't believe she was a noble race elder from the Zhongnan sect. He immediately begged Yoyal Shin to forgive him for not recognizing her as a deity. She asked him to raise his head, saying she didn't come to boast her status. Damyang apologized to Yoyal Shin for his disrespect. He couldn't believe he kept the Zhongnan sect's sword deities waiting outside. He asked her to come in. Yanxin was surprised she was an elder, being from the noble race. He wondered how long Yoyal Shin had lived. While walking, Yoyal Shin turned her head and saw Yanxin. Their eyes met. Yoyal Shin immediately bowed his head at this sight. Damyang noticed the woman looking at his son. He told her Yoyal Shin was his 3rd son. Our boy turned and left after seeing the woman. The elf told Damyang his son's eyes were bright. She said our boy looked really smart with a nervous expression. The patriarch explained to Yoyal Shin that his son lacked manners. The elf was shocked to hear this. Watching his son walk away, Damyang informed the woman that Yoyal Shin was actually their family's troublemaker. When our boy returned to the training ground, he picked up his sword. Yoyal Shin had gained a new perspective after seeing the martial master's energies. Our boy was stuck after practicing the young clan's movement art. He wondered what to train next. He opened his sword and carefully inspected it. He decided to try training his sword. The scene shifts to the martial master's room. The other 2 masters told the elder the place was better than expected. They explained to the elf that the tyrant sword tribe would definitely want a place with this much earth energy. Yoyal Shin told the men they were right. She told them they needed to find a way to counterattack. Unfortunately, the plan would result in the clan's sacrifice. The taller man asked the elder if they couldn't just attack and destroy their enemies before they crossed the wall. The elder took a sip of her tea. She believed the idea wasn't bad. She explained to the man that the 13 skies were the most problematic group. She asked the men to never let their guards down and to keep their sword aura sharp. While thinking, Yoyal Shin noticed she kept thinking about Yi Engson. She was certain Yi Engson stood out from everyone. She found our boy to be a strange child. At night, we see Yi Engson meditating and circulating his energy. Our boy noticed something strange. He noticed his Baihui acupoint was quite open. Although he hadn't meditated for a year because he was busy training his body with the young clan's movement art, the amount of energy that went through his head had gotten even greater. Yi Engson realized he had less than 5 years before he lost consciousness. If this happened, our boy would end up dying. Yi Engson quickly opened his eyes. He couldn't believe he had only 5 years left to live. Our boy was scared to see this. He stepped out of his room and looked at the moon in the sky. He couldn't believe he wasn't able to change his fate even after learning the young clan's movement art. While thinking, Yi Engson sensed something. He quickly turned to the side. He could sense an ominous energy coming from the main building. Our boy quickly grabbed his sword and ran to the building. As he got closer, Yi Engson became certain something was wrong. The scent of blood got stronger the closer he got to the building. The building was also too quiet. While running, Yi Engson saw a portal at the building's entrance. Our boy quickly ran through the portal. He realized someone set a trap formation. When he arrived in the main building, Yi Engson saw something shocking. He saw the dead bodies of the servants and guards lying on the ground. Our boy couldn't believe he just noticed something was happening in the manor. He realized this might have happened because of the trap formation. While looking around, Yi Engson realized everyone on the ground was part of his clan. He wondered if the culprit possessed overwhelming martial prowess. While he was looking at the bodies, someone asked him why he was still alive. When Yi Engson looked up, he saw some men carrying the dead bodies of the servants. A huge bald man approached him, a scary look on his face. The man told our boy he should have hidden if he survived. One of the man's colleagues asked him to send Yi Engson to the afterlife. Yi Engson glared at the man after hearing this. The bald man asked our boy not to blame him. He said he was just following orders. He gathered energy in his hand, then rushed to attack Yi Engson. Our boy grabbed the man's wrist and used his hand to crush it. The bald man screamed in pain. He fell to the ground, trembling. The man's colleagues were shocked by what our boy did to his hand. They quickly grabbed their swords. The man who told the bald man to kill Yi Engson asked his identity. Our boy released his energy and raised his sword. With a serious look, He told the man he's the clan's third son. The moment Yi Engson stepped forward, the bald man stood up. He called our boy a bastard. He gathered his energy, ready to attack. Before he could take a step, Yi Engson used his sword to cut off his head at crazy speed. The bald man didn't know what happened. He just knew he couldn't clearly see our boy anymore. Yi Engson rushed to attack the other men. The men were startled to see this. Our boy got close to them, using a technique called scripture origin ability to cut off the head of the closest man. Before the other man next to him could react, Yi Engson tore his body apart. The other two men were terrified as our boy came towards them. Before they could even attack, Yi Engson cut off one man's wrist and beheaded the other. Immediately after this, he turned and stabbed the man whose wrist he cut in the chest. The man screamed in pain. Yi Engson was annoyed to see this. He pulled his sword from the man's body. Our boy watched the men fall in front of him. He let out a sigh. This was his first time using his delightful sword. Fortunately, Yi Engson understood how it works. While he looked at his sword, someone commended his sword art. Our boy quickly turned to the side. He saw another group of mysterious men. A man with a headband told Yi Engson the idiots lost because they let their guard down. Although he said this, the man was actually surprised by how good our boy was. He never expected someone so young to be so skilled. He asked Yi Engson if he'd trained with the delightful sword his whole life. Our boy asked the man if he was from the Blood Flame cult. The man revealed that the men on the ground were from the cult. He explained they were from the Tyrant Sword tribe. Yi Engson was surprised to hear this. He couldn't believe the Tyrant Sword tribe and the Blood Flame cult were in the same place. The 13 Skies are said to be Muriam's most cruel and powerful group. Yi Engson couldn't believe the Tyrant Sword tribe and the Blood Flame cult, both part of the 13 Skies, were in his manor. He asked the man to tell him what business their two groups had with the manor. The man told our boy it wasn't his business. Yi Engson smiled when he heard this. Since the man was answering his question instead of attacking him, our boy asked if the man knew about him. That surprised the man. He didn't get what Yi Engson meant. Our boy saw the man didn't get it. He simplified the question, asking if the man knew his family was with the Desolate Fortress, the Muriam's top branch sect. He told the man killing him would be trouble, even for the Tyrant Sword tribe. Right after he said that, a huge wall next to them exploded. Someone flew through it. The person hit the ground hard. Yi Engson was shocked. He knew this guy was a Zhongnan sect martial master. The man coughed up blood trying to stand. As soon as he did, another person flew into our boy's part of the manor. That person was Shin. The elder landed, then used her sword to brace herself. Yi Engson couldn't believe it. He knew the elder as the sword deity, yet she was struggling. Our boy wondered who Shin was fighting. As he thought that, Yi Engson felt something terrifying. The elder also sensed it, raising her head. A man flew into the yard. Our boy wondered who this was. This man wore a black robe, had black hair, and a golden sword. He was giving off an ominous vibe. The man turned, glaring at Yi Engson. Our boy immediately took a stance, just from looking into the man's eyes. His head felt light from the eye contact alone. The man with the headband moved close to the mysterious man, kneeling. He called him tribe leader. Yi Engson was surprised. The other men also knelt. Our boy couldn't believe he was seeing the Tyrant Sword tribe leader, the man who rules the Tyrant Sword tribe, part of the unorthodox 13 Skies. He's a disaster bringer in the Jianghu. Yi Engson couldn't grasp why a man equal to a patriarch of a 9 great sect would be here. Our boy looked around. He saw Shin and the other man were hurt. Yi Engson realized everyone there was dead. Our boy took a deep breath. He decided to test himself before dying. He gathered his energy and rushed to attack. The man in the headband was shocked. He grabbed his sword fast. Before the man could attack, Yi Engson stabbed him in the chest. Shin was surprised. Our boy let go of the man, then asked the tribe leader if he could even kill him after that. The other tribe members got annoyed. They quickly drew their swords. The tribe leader told the men to stop. The tribe members were shocked. The tribe leader told Yi Engson his spirit was better than everyone else's combined. The elder was surprised. His subordinates were shocked. They didn't understand what was happening. The tribe leader told our boy he'd let him live. Yi Engson, with a confident expression, told the man he simply couldn't kill him. He pulled his sword from the body, aimed it at the tribe leader, and revealed he's the only grandson of the Desolate Fortress's former Divine Sword Squad leader. Shin was shocked. She knew the Divine Sword was the best in the Desolate Fortress. The tribe leader explained the Imperial family created the Desolate Fortress to stop Muriam forces' conspiracies. He thought getting involved with them was a bad idea. The tribe leader told Yi Engson he wasn't letting him live for that reason. He revealed he actually liked our boy. He explained that his temperament and spirit are what a powerful martial artist needs in the Jianghu. Our boy just glared. The tribe leader told Yi Engson he would have taken him as a disciple if he wasn't tied to the Desolate Fortress. Everyone was shocked. The man raised his sword, plunged it into the ground, and told Yi Engson he had 1 day to leave. He told our boy and the elder that no clan or sect could step on his land. After saying this, he turned and walked away. The tribe members sheathed their swords and followed. Before leaving, the leader told Yi Engson he'd always be ready for a duel. He asked him to find him when he was ready for revenge. Yi Engson glared at the man when he heard this. After saying this, the leader left the building. Our boy kept the leader's image in his head, etching it into his mind. Next, we see Yi Engson staring at his father's body, watching him cough. He told the man he was right there. Daimyung reached out, touched his son, and with a shaky voice, asked Yi Engson why he was so strong. Our boy explained he used the young clan's movement art, which he created. Daimyung was shocked. He couldn't believe his son created a martial art. He remembered Yi Engson telling him he'd created a martial art using their clan's technique. At this point, Daimyung turned and asked his son to repeat himself. With an angry look, the man asked our boy what gave him the right to mess with their clan's exclusive martial arts. The patriarch asked our boy if he meant the martial arts he'd told him about. He called those martial arts the sacred art created by their clan. With tears, Daimyung told his son he was too stupid and ignorant. He couldn't believe his third son improved their clan's martial arts. The patriarch told Yi Engson he had the qualities of a founder. The man couldn't believe someone as skilled as Yi Engson was his son. Thinking this, he lost consciousness. Our boy held his father's hand tightly. The second son called out to his father. Our boy stood up and turned to the chief steward. He asked how Haya was doing. The man assured Yi Engson his niece was safe. He said the girl was just sleeping because her acupoint was blocked. According to the steward, Haya's acupoint was blocked to knock her out. Then she was hidden so killers wouldn't find her. Our boy asked his elder brother to raise Haya in the Jungnan sect. He explained that the little girl has an exceptional affinity with the 5 elements, assuring him the sect would take her in. The boy asked Yi Engson what his plans were. Our boy told his elder brother he'd look after himself. Right after he said this, Il Shin came looking for him. Yi Engson asked the woman if she was leaving. The elder explained to our boy that she needed to report the situation to the Jungnan sect, since the tyrant sword tribe leader got involved. Il Shin asked Yi Engson if he was going to the desolate fortress to meet his mother's family. With a sad look, our boy told the elder she was correct. He revealed he had nowhere else to go to get stronger. Hearing this, Il Shin offered to bring Yi Engson to Jongnan Mountain. Our boy thanked the woman for her offer, saying he was honored. Il Shin then revealed her plan to recommend him as the sect leader's disciple. Our boy and the 2 other men were shocked to hear this. The elder assured Yi Engson that it was possible for someone like him. Yi Engson knew the Jongnan direct disciple could learn the absolute sacred art. The best part was the Jongnan sect leader was one of the world's top 10 swordsmen. Even knowing this, our boy still declined the offer, apologizing to the elder. Il Shin smiled when she heard this. She told our boy she simply wanted someone as talented as him. Yi Engson asked her to forgive him. The elder assured him it was fine, telling him their sect's doors would always be open. The moment he heard this, our boy told the woman he had a question. Il Shin asked him to share his questions. Yi Engson explained he knew she was one of the older people among the noble race. With a serious look, our boy asked the woman if she knew a way to get the fruit of the world tree. Il Shin was shocked to hear this. The fruit of the world tree is protected by the desolate fortress leader, whom the emperor has acknowledged as king and a peer. It's said to give eternal life and youth to those who eat it. It's a treasure from the heavens. Yi Engson believes eating this fruit will extend his short lifespan. Il Shin revealed she hadn't lived half her lifespan, so she had no authority over the world tree. According to the elder, the desolate fortress leader can give the fruit to others. Yi Engson told the elder he had to go to the desolate fortress. Il Shin explained to our boy that the item isn't easy to get. She told him it's sacred even among the noble races. Yi Engson explained to her he didn't know any other way to save himself. He told Il Shin he'd have to become the divine sword squad leader and achieve great feats. The elder bowed her head, assuring our boy she'd cheer him on from afar. After saying this, she turned and told Yi Engson she needed to leave to take the updates to the sect. She called the tall man Cliff Swordsman and the short man Neutral Spirit Fist. She told our boy the men would stay to clean up the place. The men put their hands together, accepting the order. After saying this, she left. The scene shifted, showing our boy and his family leaving their manor. Yi Engson thanked the 2 men for their help. With a sad look, the Neutral Spirit Fist asked our boy not to thank them. He told him they also played a big part in the tragedy. Before Yi Engson left, his elder brother called out to him. Holding Haya, the man told his little brother an apology wasn't enough to console him for everything that happened within the clan. He promised Yi Engson he'd be a better older brother next time they met. He asked our boy to survive at all costs. Yi Engson revealed to his brother he wasn't talented. He told him he had to train like his life depended on it. The man assured our boy he'd do his best. Haya raised her head to see our boy. She called him uncle. Yi Engson asked his elder brother to protect their niece. He then asked the steward his current plans. The steward told Yi Engson that their family had smaller branches across Nanyang. He'd manage the remaining assets since the family bloodline continued. Our boy informed the man he was heading to the desolate fortress. He hoped they'd meet occasionally. Yi Engson knew the chief steward's martial arts skills would be helpful. Before leaving, our boy told the steward to live comfortably. He asked the man to take care. The steward seemed surprised. After saying this, Yi Engson walked away. The steward watched him go. Unable to believe Yi Engson had told him to live a comfortable life. The man realized no other Jung clan descendant had ever said that since the previous patriarch took him in. The man bowed to Yi Engson. Next, we see Xiangyang, a beautiful, lively city. Yi Engson entered a bar, following an attendant to the top floor. He set his bag down, looking at the city from above. He felt relieved to finally be there. While looking around, he heard people discussing the desolate fortress's greatness. A chubby man told his friends that people from all over the Central Plains gather there with big dreams because of the desolate fortress. He said the bar owner told him they were out of liquor. The man's friend replied that restaurants are chaotic lately. This is because martial artists taking the entrance test are always drunk. Yi Engson was shocked to hear about an entrance test for the desolate fortress. Just then, someone asked if he was also there for the entrance test. Our boy quickly looked up, seeing a martial artist in front of him. The boy's name is Heian Wanchang. Yi Engson asked the boy why he was there. Wanchang apologized for being too forward. He said he was just fascinated to see a younger challenger. He introduced himself, saying he came from Shanxi, a really distant place. Our boy also introduced himself to Wanchang, saying he was from Xinya County. Wanchang was surprised. He couldn't believe our boy came from nearby. He told Yi Engson his journey must have been easy. He told our boy he had to fight Green Forest bandits and swim against Pirates Fortress pirates. He said the pirates' water martial arts were vicious. Yi Engson also encountered bandits while traveling. However, our boy easily defeated them. He told Wanchang his journey was quite easy. The boy looked around for anyone nearby. He leaned closer to our boy, suggesting they become friends and share test information. Yi Engson asked Wanchang if there really was a test. The boy seemed shocked. He raised his voice, telling our boy the test is called the Desolate Fortress Trial. Wanchang explained the Desolate Fortress differs from typical martial arts groups. Just as aspiring government officials need martial arts and literature skills, there's a test to join the Desolate Fortress. Yi Engson asked the boy if that's why so many people gathered there. Wanchang explained that foundations don't matter. Once you join, opportunities and teachings are provided. That's why every martial artist tries their luck. Countless people have learned various martial arts just to pass the test. The Desolate Fortress is the world's strongest martial arts group. It's also a martial arts place that excites everyone. Most people say if you want to conquer the world with one weapon, you need to go to the Desolate Fortress. Since the imperial family ruling the Central Plains would move to control martial arts groups, all elixirs and advanced martial arts gathered worldwide await in the fortress. Wanchang explained to Yi Engson, smiling, that some people believe great sects with traditions are better than the Desolate Fortress. The boy said those people don't know what they're talking about. He said martial arts groups created by commoners could never be stronger than the Desolate Fortress. Our boy took a sip of his drink, telling the boy he understood. Wanchang told Yi Engson most people don't pass the test on their first try. Yi Engson simply replied that he understood. Wanchang explained that those who typically pass are the next generation leaders from respected martial arts clans, those gaining prominence and seeking fame. Smiling, Wanchang asked if he'd take the test with him tomorrow. Yi Engson, showing no reaction, accepted his offer. Wanchang got nervous hearing this. He couldn't grasp why the boy showed no response to his words. Wanchang told Yi Engson he's quite easygoing. As Wanchang kept talking, the boy stopped listening. Yi Engson was happy he could join if he passed the test. He didn't want to ask his mother's family for help, since he didn't know their location or appearance. The next day, Yi Engson and Wanchang entered the fortress for their test. Participants received a numbered tag. The boy got number 13. After getting his tag, Yi Engson looked around. He was in a ring with other participants and 2 examiners. Wanchang said participants pass if the supervisor accepts their plaque, but if he tells you to return it to reception, you fail. The second exam is a tournament. The boy asked Wanchang if there's a third exam. Wanchang told Yi Engson the third exam is an interview with the Desolate Fortress Lord. Yi Engson was shocked to hear this. He asked his friend if he was sure. Many martial artists come to Xiangyang just for this. Talking with an absolute master like the Lord is an amazing chance. This martial artist hoped to gain some deep insight. Yi Engson told the boy he understood. Right after he said this, the supervisor announced the first exam is about swift sword arts. He said participants must demonstrate one swing using their fastest technique. The supervisor will observe and judge the technique himself. Wanchang raised his hand, offering to go first. The supervisor accepted. The idiot volunteered because he was nervous. Yi Yangsen thought the test was simple, just show a fast sword technique to pass. Wanchang took off his robe. The moment his hand touched his sword, Yi Yangsen and the spectators watched him closely. Yi Yangsen noticed Wanchang had a well-honed spirit. He could tell the boy was strong. He was even stronger than some bandits the boy saw on his way here. Wanchang took a stance and released his energy. He took a deep breath and swung his sword. The audience was shocked by the boy's demonstration. One person said the boy felt different. He only saw an apparition. Wanchang stared at the supervisor, fearing his response. The man told him his technique wasn't bad. He asked Wanchang for his plaque. The boy was happy to hear this. He thanked the man. The supervisor asked the next examinee to step forward. Wanchang walked past Yi Yangsen and wished him good luck. The boy composed himself and walked forward. The audience was surprised. They never expected such a young kid to be an examinee. One person said Yi Yangsen had a lot of guts. Wanchang smiled hearing this. Another man said Yi Yangsen must be from another province, trying to use this chance to show his swordsmanship to a desolate fortress martial artist. This is because a single piece of advice is precious. Yi Yangsen took a stance and placed his hand on his sword. He nodded, signaling readiness. The supervisor returned the nod, then told Yi Yangsen to start. The moment he spoke, Yi Yangsen drew his sword. No one saw the swing. Only the wind pressure hit them. The supervisor was stunned. Everyone there was shocked, unsure what just happened. Wanchang's jaw dropped. He hadn't expected such skill from a young boy. The audience didn't even see our boy's sword move. As Yi Yangsen sheathed his sword, the supervisor declared the desolate fortress's future had arrived. Everyone was shocked by this news. The man then asked Yi Yangsen for his plaque. He checked our boy's number carefully, then told him to go. Yi Yangsen bowed his head, then turned around. Our boy picked up his robe and left the ring. Everyone made way for him. Wanchang approached Yi Yangsen, asking if he was from a famous family. Our boy asked if that mattered. He reminded Wanchang that only martial arts, talent, and effort count in the desolate fortress. Wanchang was surprised. He asked Yi Yangsen if he really planned to finish the desolate fortress trial. With a serious expression, our boy told his friend that's why everyone, including him, came here. Wanchang realized Yi Yangsen was serious. He agreed, thanked our boy, and said he needed to leave. Yi Yangsen watched his friend walk off. He hoped his kind, talkative friend would pass the second exam. The scene changed, showing Yi Yangsen meditating in a room. While circulating his energy, our boy thought about the second exam, a martial arts tournament. Yi Yangsen remembered it was 3 weeks away. He knew he needed more serious training. Our boy decided to practice his young clan's movement art, the rapid sword arts, and the scripture of originability, which is an amplified Chai movement technique. 3 weeks later, we saw Yi Yangsen and other participants arrive for their test. The supervisor told the examinees to wait outside until called. He then entered a building. A guard stood at the entrance, watching everyone. Staring at the guard's uniform logo, one participant admitted feeling discouraged. The man explained that the white martial arts outfit meant an elementary-level martial artist. The man asked his neighbor why the guard's energy felt so strong. The other man replied that just wearing white clothes secured his future. Yi Yangsen also looked at the guard. While he watched, Wanchang called out to him. The man ran to meet our boy. He told him he'd grown taller. Yi Yangsen smiled, saying Wanchang also looked better. With a serious look, Wanchang told his friend that winning wasn't the important part of this exam. He explained that just one fight in 2 rounds was enough. He said a single round could catch the eye of the watching desolate fortress masters. With tears in his eyes, Wanchang told our boy that getting the master's attention was actually the hardest part. He knew this from experience. Yi Yangsen asked his friend if winning a match could still mean failing the exam. The boy confirmed it. Biting his nails, Wanchang told our boy their problem was the supervisors would have higher standards today. Yi Yangsen was surprised, asking why. Wanchang revealed that the White Qilin was competing in today's tournament. That news shocked our boy. He asked his friend if he meant the Namgung family's White Qilin. The White Qilin had wiped out a notorious bandit group before turning 15. He also beheaded the Shrouded Assassin, an unorthodox swordmaster. Wanchang said rumors claimed the White Qilin defeated all rising fighters at the 8 Great Family Dragon and Phoenix tournament when he was 18. Yi Yangsen was surprised. He asked his friend why someone from the Namgung family, who already had martial dignity, would join the desolate fortress. Wanchang explained to Yi Yangsen that the White Qilin couldn't become patriarch since he was a concubine's child. The boy said if someone reached desolate fortress captain, they'd be on par with an 8 Great Family's patriarch. In fact, they'd have more power. That's because the desolate fortress keeps order in the central plains Jianghu. While they talked, a guard called our boy's name, telling him to step out. Yi Engson told Wancheng he hoped to see him again in the desolate fortress. The boy was shocked. He immediately walked to the guard. Inside, a referee and supervisors watched Yi Engson and his opponent. Our boy's opponent, with a creepy smile, drew his sword. Right after he did that, the referee told them to start the fight. The man started laughing. Yi Engson didn't get why he was laughing. With a disgusted look, the man called our boy a struggling moth. He asked Yi Engson if he wanted to know his identity. Before the man could introduce himself, Yi Engson attacked, leaving a huge scar on his face. Our boy attacked the idiot with his sword sheath, still knocking him out. They dragged the man away after Yi Engson defeated him. A young man smiled, seeing how our boy beat him. He stepped out, telling Yi Engson he'd be his next opponent. Our boy turned to see the handsome young man with light blue hair. Supervisors from different squads were excited for the fight. Among them, 2 men in blue clothes. The black-haired man told his colleague he wondered who would get the handsome man. He said squad leaders would fight over him. His colleague replied the man was stronger than them. He said he expected no less from a Nam Gung. Yi Engson was shocked. He instantly realized he was facing the White Qilin, whose real name was Nam Gung Hua Xin. The supervisors wondered if they'd see the Boundless Heaven technique today. Our boy could tell the White Qilin was about 5 years older. Even though the man was strong, Yi Engson didn't think he was at an unreachable level. Thanks to his family's martial arts, our boy was more physically fit than Hua Xin. However, he was behind him in other areas. Hua Xin bowed, introducing himself to Yi Engson. He told our boy he mainly trained in Boundless Heaven martial arts and infinite steps. Immediately after saying this, he drew his sword. Yi Engson bowed, telling Hua Xin the martial arts he used. The man noticed something odd. He asked Yi Engson if he wasn't going to use his sword. The moment he asked, our boy grabbed his sword and took a stance. The White Qilin smiled. He released his energy, covering his sword with it. The core of Yi Engson's technique was unpredictability. Our boy would deliver an unexpected main attack amid an unpredictable rhythm. Yi Engson thought his technique would make the White Qilin drop his guard. All supervisors focused on Hua Xin. The referee told our boy and Hua Xin to start their duel. Right after that, Yi Engson attacked the White Qilin, but Hua Xin blocked it, breaking our boy's sword. Hua Xin was shocked by our boy's attack. He didn't expect it to be so fast. The supervisors couldn't grasp what they'd just witnessed. They expected Hua Xin to win, but not to see such a scary, delightful sword. The 2 men in blue were more shocked than the other supervisors. Hua Xin looked at his sword. He turned to Yi Engson and said he'd lost. Our boy was surprised to hear this. Everyone else was also surprised. The 2 men didn't seem surprised by the result, but were more shocked by our boy's delightful sword. The blonde man noticed Yi Engson was 5 years younger than the White Qilin. He realized our boy couldn't use true energy with his techniques yet. The blonde man said he was scared of how powerful Yi Engson would become. The referee walked up to our boy. He pointed in another direction, telling him there was another garden to the north. He asked Yi Engson to wait there. Our boy bowed, telling the White Qilin he'd love to duel him again. Hua Xin smiled, saying he was about to suggest the same thing, and told Yi Engson he looked forward to their next duel. After hearing this, Yi Engson moved to the next garden. Inside, he saw some warriors already waiting. The martial artists were surprised someone as young as Yi Engson passed the tournament, thinking the White Qilin would be next. As he walked, Yi Engson thought about his fight with the White Qilin. Our boy knew he couldn't win if the fight dragged on, so he used the most extreme, delightful sword form right away. However, Hua Xin had imbued his sword with true energy, which broke our boy's sword. Yi Engson thought it was his fault for rashly using delightful sword. Even so, Yi Engson never expected the White Qilin to admit defeat, realizing this is how a noble from a renowned family acts. Our boy remembered how surprised the 2 men were when they realized he couldn't use true energy with his techniques. The Young clan is a third-rate branch clan. No one in Yi Engson's household knew how to use true energy, or our boy would have learned from them. Yi Engson drew his sword. Now that our boy had seen it, he understood its proper use. Staring at his sword, our boy started releasing some energy. Yi Engson understood it wasn't just simple energy transfer into his sword. Instead, true energy should be a medium to become one with the sword. As he thought this, his sword began to glow. The other martial artists saw a shining, blinding light in the garden. When they turned, they saw something shocking. They couldn't believe Yi Engson was experiencing sword resonation. They were even more shocked that such a young person experienced it. Yi Engson's sword glowed brightly, releasing energy waves. He felt his body and sword become one. He raised his sword, taking a stance. Our boy realized he'd achieved body-sword unification. After reaching this new state, Yi Engson opened his eyes. He smiled, looking at his sword. Someone congratulated him on his enlightenment. Yi Engson turned and saw the White Qilin. The man put his hand on his sword. Yi Engson looked around. He noticed other martial artists staring at him. Our boy realized the white Kilin protected him, fearing someone might disrupt his enlightenment. While he thought, Wanchang approached him. Yi Engsen put his broken sword away, thanking Wanchang for his protection. He also congratulated him on passing the tournament. Wanchang laughed when he heard this. Wanchang reminded his friend that he was also right there. Our boy smiled and congratulated him. While they talked, Wanchang remembered something. He told Yi Engsen that he'd gotten a nickname. Our boy was surprised to hear this. When someone shows exceptional martial arts prowess or gets attention, people give them a nickname. Unless they commit evil deeds, most nicknames are a huge honor for martial artists. Wanchang told Yi Engsen he'd heard his nickname too. Our boy was surprised, certain he'd only passed a trial. Wanchang revealed people called him the Lightning Genius. Yi Engsen was surprised. He couldn't believe he was now known as the Lightning Genius. The White Kilin said people claimed he had lightning talent. The man told Yi Engsen this was his new name in the Jianghu. Even Desolate Fortress martial artists called him that. Our boy laughed at his new name. He asked the two men if they were sure people weren't just mocking him for being a little fast with his sword. Wanchang smiled. He couldn't believe Yi Engsen thought he was just a little fast. He asked our boy what he'd call someone who struggled to block his attack. Our boy looked up. He couldn't believe he was now the Lightning Genius. This was a title he couldn't even dream of doing the horse stance in the young manner. A while later, everyone gathered. They were told their last trial was next. The supervisor said passing it meant joining the Desolate Fortress. Yi Engsen couldn't believe he was about to meet a living piece of history, one of the world's strongest martial masters, possibly the strongest. After the supervisor's explanation, the first person entered the building. A little while later, the man exited, looking like he'd seen something he shouldn't have. Wanchang was surprised by the man's expression. The man said nothing. He simply walked past everyone. After he left, others went in. They all came out looking the same. Since everyone came out quickly, Wanchang asked his friend if the leader was just looking at faces. After a while, Yi Engsen was asked to step in. Our boy was told to keep going until he reached the top floor. When Yi Engsen arrived at the top, he saw a huge golden door. The door opened and our boy stepped inside. Immediately inside, Yi Engsen noticed vines tied to a pillar. Looking up, our boy saw someone on a throne surrounded by trees. The throne held a noblewoman, an elf leading the Desolate Fortress. Yi Engsen greeted her, introducing himself. She turned her head, looking at him. Yi Engsen was surprised by the elven woman. The leader, a beautiful elf with green hair and eyes, told him he's from a specific bloodline. Yi Engsen, serious, asked about the bloodline. He wondered if she knew his mother's family. The elf glared, sensing he already knew. She called him bold. Yi Engsen then admitted he's the former Divine Sword Squad leader's grandson. The leader revealed his grandfather's joining the Elder Council, calling him obstinate. Looking at Yi Engsen, the elf mentioned his injury. Yi Engsen was surprised. He told her not to worry, saying they were trivial issues. The elf explained the issues weren't trivial. She said he'd just covered the wound with his trained body, noting he's only lived 15 years. She apologized for commenting, saying an outsider shouldn't get involved. The leader smiled and stood, and she told Yi Engsen she liked him, finding it interesting he didn't bow despite coming for something he wanted. Yi Engsen was surprised. He couldn't figure out how she knew he wanted something. He wondered if she'd discovered his abnormally wide-open Baihui acupoint. Yi Engsen decided to ask his question. He asked the leader if eating the world tree's fruit would let him live. The woman said he might get what he wants. Yi Engsen asked if he could actually get it. The elf explained it depends on his actions. Yi Engsen felt relieved. He said that was enough, thanking her for the response. As he bowed, he remembered something. He asked the leader if he was now a martial artist of the Desolate Fortress. The elf smiled, confirming he was. She told him he could leave, calling him the next Divine Sword Squad leader. Yi Engsen was surprised. Walking downstairs, he recalled her words. He wondered if she was teasing him or saw his potential. Yi Engsen realized the leader might also be saying he'd get the world tree fruit if he became the next Divine Sword Squad leader. The scene changed to Yi Engsen, Wanchang, the White Qilin, and another man. These four passed the test. The four were escorted by a staff member. Walking, the man asked if they knew the Desolate Fortress's work, with a confident smile. Wanchang told the man, the Desolate Fortress stops martial masters from overthrowing the imperial family. The man said Wanchang was partly right. He explained that's a major task, but they handle something else too. He told them they prevent certain conflicts in the Murim. The group was surprised. The staff member said no one knows what happens when a Murim fight breaks out. He revealed a bloodstorm swept the Central Plains when rumors of the Heavenly Demon's grave appeared. It would have been fine if the fight was for martial arts manuals or elixirs. But martial artists didn't care, committing heinous crimes against commoners and other martial artists. The man told them they wouldn't recognize the Murim after seeing this hellish sight. Wanchang was annoyed. He remembered the incident as the disaster of the heavenly demon's grave. The staff mentioned that 17 years had passed since that event. He explained their issues weren't just unorthodox sects or the demonic faction. All orthodox groups, like the 9 great sects and 8 great clans, were also problems. He said people would suffer if these powers acted unchecked, meaning if there was public unrest and unpaid taxes, the empire's reign would face trouble. The staff explained this was why the imperial family provided them with massive funds, elixirs, manuals, and martial masters. The man stopped, turned, and with a serious face, told them their job was to decapitate any martial artist disturbing normal people's lives. These words resonated with the group, each repeating them silently. After speaking, the man stepped aside, revealing a building. He told the group they'd stay there for now. He explained they'd later get assigned to a specific place and move to its accommodations. The man wished the group good luck. Next, we see our boy on his bed. Yi Enshin realized he'd spent a week here. He hadn't expected an assignment to take so long. While our boy was thinking, someone knocked, asking to enter. Yi Enshin told the person to come in. It was Wanchong. The boy seemed happy. Yi Enshin asked him for an update. Wanchong revealed their destination was decided. He told him they were joining the Radiant Demon Squad, a combat unit. Our boy was surprised by this news. Wanchong sat on his bed, asking if he'd heard the rumors. Yi Enshin asked him to share them. The boy said the 17 combat squad captains under the Divine Sword Squad fought to recruit new warriors. Yi Enshin was surprised, remembering combat squad captains represented the desolate fortress. He asked his friend if the captains truly sparred. Wanchong revealed they fought to recruit the White Qilin and the Lightning Genius. The next day, we're at the Radiant Demon Squad arena. Our boy and Wanchong wore new uniforms. Wanchong seemed to love his clothes. Other squad members, in identical uniforms, stood near the arena. Some also wore blue uniforms. In front of the 2 boys stood Ma Jin, the Radiant Demon Squad captain. He wore a black uniform. Yi Enshin had heard Ma Jin was the strongest captain. Seeing him confirmed it for our boy. Ma Jin approached them. With a terrifying look, he called our boy the Lightning Genius. Yi Enshin responded to the man's call. Ma Jin kept glaring at our boy. However, Yi Enshin didn't flinch. He just looked at his captain. Ma Jin smiled at this. He praised our boy for his backbone. He told him people like him don't die easily. The captain explained the Divine Sword Squad's combat units were essentially like Central Plains sects. He told the boys they'd learn Radiant Squad martial arts and complete missions. He gestured behind him, saying those people were their seniors. Wanchong raised his hand, telling the captain he had a question. The captain told him to speak. Wanchong thanked him for the permission. The boy asked Ma Jin if learning Radiant Demon Squad martial arts meant everyone would share their techniques. The captain assured the boy their learned martial arts were their own. He said only Radiant Squad martial arts would be taught. Wanchong felt relieved hearing this. He was excited to learn the famous Radiant Demon arts. Ma Jin told the boy he needed to work hard at learning the martial arts to survive. Yi Enshin remembered hearing about the Radiant Demon arts. The Radiant Demon Squad was one of the 17 squad's more famous ones. This was because they fought the Plum Blossom Swordsmen, the Manhwa sect's 24 elite swordsmen, without any casualties. This incident boosted rumors that the Desolate Fortress was the world's strongest. The captain explained that even though the Desolate Fortress was affiliated, a martial artist from there being attacked wasn't treason. He told them this was why they must learn everything they could in the squad and keep getting stronger. Yi Enshin asked the man why being attacked by other martial artists wasn't treason for them. The captain explained that the Murim had eccentric people. Many had lost their minds from learning demonic arts. Some martial artists are super good at moving around, so they can mess with officials then just escape to the mountains. That's why the imperial family's authority doesn't apply to them, since they aren't government workers. Instead, they fight other martial artists. The captain told the boys they'd die if they didn't get stronger. He turned, pointing at a squad member. He told Yi Enshin that the guy slashed by Namgung's strongest swordsman could explain it better, smiling. The man in blue said the king-style sword arts were pretty scary. Our boy remembered king-style sword arts are known as one of the world's strongest swordsmanship styles. It's a supreme martial art only for main Namgung clan descendants. Ma Jian was annoyed seeing the guy on the ground. The man got scared by his captain's expression. He quickly stood up. Yi Enshin remembered Namgung's strongest swordsmen are said to be China's best. He couldn't believe his senior survived fighting someone so strong. The man told our boy he wanted to start with him. He said he wanted to see Yi Enshin's swift sword art, which is supposedly exceptional. Yi Enshin moved aside, placing his hand on his sword. Everyone was surprised. They were surprised by Yi Enshin's energy. The man smiled seeing this. He pulled out his sword. He took a stance, introducing himself as Chung Myung. He told our boy he was born and raised in Xiangyang. Our boy also took a stance and introduced himself. Myung told him he'd never heard of his town. Myung explained to Yi and Shin that anyone can feel wind from a tri-sword technique, even from a 10-year-old. That's how you figure out how someone swings their sword in a fight. Our boy didn't get what the man was saying. The man pointed at our boy, saying he must be talented to reach this point so young. Releasing energy through his sword, Myung asked Yi and Shin to show his talent. He asked him to show how talented he is with his sword. Our boy accepted this challenge. Immediately, he raised his sword. The other members were shocked by Yi and Shin's energy. They realized he had sword resonance. Even the captain was shocked. With his sword glowing and vibrating, Yi and Shin glared at Myung. He focused completely on his senior. Yi and Shin could feel his senior's breathing with his energy detection. After staring for a bit, our boy found his chance. He quickly rushed to attack him. The moment he got close, he pulled out his sword and used his swift sword arts on Myung. To Yi and Shin's surprise, Myung blocked his attack just as his sword was about to hit. He didn't know when his senior raised his sword. Our boy stepped back, holding his position. He remembered fighting a man who battled the Namgung clan's strongest swordsman. He should have seen this coming. Yi and Shin immediately charged Myung. The senior lifted his sword, swinging it at our boy. Yi and Shin dodged by ducking low. He spun around fast, striking Myung with his sword, but his senior blocked the attack. Though the senior seemed surprised by our boy's move. While Yi and Shin struggled, Myung vanished. Our boy was shocked. He knew Myung would reappear soon. Just as he thought, the senior showed up behind him. He swung his sword at our boy. Yi and Shin dodged by bending his head. He instantly turned, swinging his sword at his senior's head. Myung dodged by jumping. His headband got cut off. Myung is a noble race member. He used his energy to land. He quickly stood up. Everyone was shocked by our boy's action. The captain and Wanchong couldn't believe it. Breathing hard, Myung glared at Yi and Shin. Our boy finally understood Myung's skill. A noble race member should be skilled, he thought. Yi and Shin took a stance. He decided to use the origin ability, also called the limit releasing technique, on his sword. While thinking, he noticed everyone looked weird. He didn't get why they made those faces. Even Myung was surprised. Our boy put his sword down, asking his senior for his opinion. The man was surprised. Yi and Shin told his senior he knew he went easy. He asked Myung to be honest. Myung didn't know how to react. He asked Yi and Shin's age. Our boy was annoyed. He told his senior he's 15. He asked if his age mattered. He reminded him enemies won't go easy because of age. He told Myung their skills matter most now. Our boy thought age was useless given his short lifespan. Myung was shocked by our boy's age. Everyone else was shocked too. They couldn't believe a 15-year-old could be so skilled. A senior in blue said this was abnormal. He said Yi and Shin might be a heavenly mistake. He told his peers he'd been to the Dragon Phoenix Summit many times, but never saw anyone like Shin. He said it's impossible to be this skilled, even learning instinct, honing arts from birth. Another person in white said he was his city's most talented. Of course, his talent was nothing next to our boy's. Yi and Shin looked around, seeing Wanchong extremely shocked. Ma Jin seemed more curious. Myung laughed, putting his sword away. Our boy still couldn't understand what was happening. Next, we see the seniors laughing after hearing a scream. The captain had punched Wanchong with his energy-covered hand. The poor boy struggled to breathe. Ma Jin told Wanchong he was pretty impressive for still standing. He told the boy to go back and solidify his learning. Wanchong accepted the order. The captain then turned. He saw our boy circulating his energy with closed eyes. When Yi and Shin opened his eyes, the captain asked if he understood the step's crux. Our boy told the man it's about thinking and acting seamlessly. Ma Jin confirmed Yi and Shin was correct. The captain explained a person always has a way to move, no matter the situation. The true core of the Radiant Demon Arts is moving seamlessly without disrupting your attacks. Ma Jin told our boy he must now grasp the deeper meaning of attack paths. Yi and Shin was surprised. The captain realized showing Yi and Shin would be much better and faster. He moved to a sculpture, placing his hand on it. He told the boys to watch closely. Ma Jin released a small amount of his energy. He took a deep breath, then withdrew his energy. Yi and Shin was surprised. He noticed his captain was completely relaxed. The captain raised his other hand, clenching his fist. He used it to destroy the sculpture in one strike. The seniors seemed impressed. Yi and Shin and Wen Chang were shocked. Ma Jin explained that using the strongest attack at the perfect time is the path of attack. He told them following an attack's path unleashes the most powerful strike. Yi and Shin realized their captain meant they needed to grasp the timing of unleashing their strength. The captain told the boys he didn't expect them to do it immediately, even after he showed them. He said it's not something you master after seeing it once. He revealed this technique takes a lifetime to learn. Yi and Shin was surprised. He asked his captain if he was certain. His captain's words didn't make sense because he felt like he could do it right now. Our boy decided to try it. He walked past his captain. Ma Jin was surprised. He wondered if Yi and Shin was actually going to try it. Our boy stood before another sculpture. He remembered core energy's essence is great nature. He believed following nature's lead would be enough. Yi Enshin raised his sword, entering body sword unification. He relaxed and opened his eyes. He carefully looked at the sculpture, seeing it in a shiny blue form. While looking, our boy saw a bright light shining in its middle. Immediately seeing the light, Yi Enshin used his sword sheath to hit its source. The moment he did this, the sculpture began to crack, then crumbled apart. Our boy smiled. He realized he understood the deeper meaning of attack paths. Yi Enshin was happy he'd learned all the radiant demon arts. He just needed to keep training to use it in a real fight. Smiling, he turned around. Everyone was completely lost, unable to comprehend what they'd just seen. Yi Enshin told his captain he wasn't quite good since it was his first time. He explained he still needed many more fights to use it properly. He told Majin that if he wants to use martial arts instantly, when life and death are on the line, normal practices won't work. Everyone was shocked by this news. Yi Enshin bowed, thanking his captain for the lessons. Majin didn't know how to react. He told our boy he'd need to rethink his teaching approach. Yi Enshin didn't get what his captain meant. The next day, Wenchang asked Yi Enshin if he'd heard about their senior's big fight with the Heavenly Squad. Our boy was surprised. He reminded Wenchang that Desolate Fortress rules were strict. Fighting outside training grounds was a punishable offense for their martial artists. Yi Enshin asked his friend why they fought. Wenchang said a Heavenly Squad member started a fight at a restaurant. He told one of their squad that our boy's talent wouldn't grow with them. Yi Enshin couldn't believe they fought for that. Wenchang told his friend he didn't understand the Murim. He explained that even small things could make someone draw their sword. On the streets, winning a fight was highly valued. Wenchang told our boy the situation wasn't bad with a strange look. The boy told Yi Enshin he never thought Desolate Fortress seniors would get mad over a newbie. He said he wouldn't know what to do in that spot. Yi Enshin didn't understand his friend. He was sure the seniors were mad because someone insulted their squad. While thinking, our boy saw an opportunity. Yi Enshin knew he needed accomplishments to get the fruit of the world tree, worshipped by noble races. He knew he'd need help to achieve things. Gaining a martial artist's trust by saving their life was best, but leaving a good impression on his squad members would still help. Yi Enshin stood up. He told his friend he was right. He said he never expected their seniors to fight because of him. He promised his friend he wouldn't let it go. He told him they needed to visit their seniors. Wenchang was surprised. He praised his friend's bravery. He told our boy he was a chivalrous person who knew the martial artist's code. Yi Enshin wondered if this was actually chivalry. The scene changed, showing our boy and his friend at the training ground. The seniors were surprised to see them. They couldn't believe the newbies came to train without lessons. They thought the boys were hardworking. A senior in blue told the boys they didn't need to train so hard in white uniforms. Another blue-clad senior said it was actually best for them to train while still in white. The two boys walked to the captain and greeted him. Ma Jin asked if they had any training problems. Yi Enshin told his captain he wanted to spar. Ma Jin asked our boy to pick an opponent. Our boy said he didn't want to spar with anyone in their squad. With a serious face, Yi Enshin told Ma Jin he wanted to spar against the Heavenly Squad. Everyone, including Wenchang, was shocked. Hearing this, Ma Jin realized our boy knew about yesterday. The captain told Yi Enshin not to get worked up. Our boy told his captain he wanted to see the heavenly sword arts he'd admired for ages. Ma Jin told Yi Enshin it was too late for that. He thought our boy was too agitated. The captain actually liked that our boy got worked up for his seniors. Yi Enshin bowed, explaining to his captain he wanted to show everyone the radiant demon arts were great. He begged Ma Jin for a chance. Yi Enshin actually wanted to gain fighting experience with radiant demon arts. He also wanted to observe and advance martial arts and impress his seniors. Our boy wanted to achieve 3 things at once. Ma Jin reminded Yi Enshin he hadn't learned the same martial arts as the Heavenly Squad and had never fought them. He told Yi Enshin his opponent had no reason to go easy, even in a spar. Yi Enshin, with a determined look, told his captain that's exactly what he wanted. Everyone was shocked by this. The seniors started praising Yi Enshin, saying his spirit fit a Desolate Fortress martial artist. They told him he could become their next captain if he survived the spar. Realizing he couldn't change Yi Enshin's mind, Ma Jin said he'd message the Heavenly Squad. Our boy was happy to hear that. Next, we see the Heavenly Squad's arena. Yi Enshin stood facing his opponent from that squad. Some Heavenly Squad members were surprised a white robe challenged a blue robe. A white robe told his seniors it was a guidance fight for learning. A blue robe asked his colleague how long Yi Enshin would last. The man replied our boy would last 10 bouts at most. The man thought a new white robe couldn't possibly last 10 bouts against a blue robe. While our boy and his opponent stared each other down, their squad captains also watched them. The Heavenly Squad's captain is Han Chulmuk. Chulmuk and Ma Jin weren't happy seeing each other. Chulmuk pointed at Yi Enshin, telling Ma Jin he'd give our boy a heavenly squad elixir if he lasted 10 bouts. Ma Jin was surprised. He told the man an elixir might be too much to bet. Chulmuk asked if the captain was scared to lose. Ma Jin told him not to provoke him, reminding him that desolate fortress elixirs are valuable and not for frivolous use. Chulmuk was annoyed. He told Ma Jin their squad's honor was at stake, asking if that wasn't important to him. Ma Jin sighed, then accepted the deal. Chulmuk happily sat down after hearing this. He told Ma Jin that as leaders, they needed to trust their own people. Ma Jin smiled at that. Yi Enshin's opponent moved closer, asking if he'd just joined the organization. Our boy bowed, introducing himself to the man. In the desolate fortress, people start as white robe warriors before becoming blue robes. Not everyone reaches blue robe status. Some take over 10 years. Blue robe warriors won't lose even to pinnacle martial masters from major sects. The man told Yi Enshin he'd trained in heavenly sword arts for 20 years. He said that while swords have no eyes, masters' swords do. With a serious expression, the man told Yi Enshin that meant nothing to him. He promised our boy no mercy. Yi Enshin said he had no problem with that. The man was surprised by his calm response. He drew his sword. Then he released his energy. Everyone focused on the man. Yi Enshin smiled, curious about the sword style a heavenly squad blue robe used. Our boy quickly dismissed that thought. He decided he didn't need such unnecessary thoughts. He told himself the man's sword style was irrelevant. He'd just use his own martial arts. The man covered his sword with energy. He told our boy he'd let him attack first, asking him to come at him. Yi Enshin activated the limit releasing technique. He quickly rushed to attack the man. He swung his sword when he got close. The man managed to block the attack. He realized our boy was quite fast. Yi Enshin raised his sword and started attacking the man fiercely. The man could only block our boy's attacks. The heavenly squad captain and his members couldn't believe what they saw. Chulmuk couldn't grasp a white robe being that fast. Ma Jin smiled at his expression. He knew anyone would be shocked by such skill from a young boy. Ma Jin knew Yi Enshin was skilled, but our boy needed this chance to win. Yi Enshin attacked fiercely, closing in on the man. The man was startled. Before the man could react, our boy kept up his barrage. The man barely defended. Yi Enshin realized he'd grown stronger in the desolate fortress. His body was now different, trained by the Jung clan's movement art and martial arts principles. Our boy moved carefully to the side. A more inclined sword trajectory uses more back muscles. Stepping forward and turning with core energy creates rotational force. Using this rotational force and his trained body, Yi Enshin landed a heavy sword hit on the man's side. Everyone was shocked. Before the man could recover, Yi Enshin moved closer. He used the rotational force to knock the man's weapon away. Our boy couldn't believe he'd learned a new move. Yi Enshin put his sword to the man's neck. The man knew he'd lost. Our boy took a deep breath, glaring at the man. The heavenly squad members couldn't understand what they'd just witnessed. Chulmuk was annoyed. Ma Jin enjoyed his expression. The referee announced our boy won. The Radiant Demon Squad cheered when they heard this. While the man tried to fix his hand, Yi Enshin sheathed his sword. Our boy knew he was lucky. He won only because of overwhelming momentum, catching the man off guard. Our boy was sure a rematch would have different results. Yi Enshin bowed, thanking the man for the chance to observe such high-level swordsmanship. The man smiled at this. He turned to pick up his sword. He told Yi Enshin his sword trajectory and rotational force surprised him. He said our boy had martial prowess beyond his age. He explained Yi Enshin had incredible sword talent. The man now understood why our boy was called the Lightning Genius. He couldn't believe Yi Enshin possessed such unfathomable martial prowess at his young age. He told our boy he envied the Radiant Squad for finding such a treasure. The other people in the arena still couldn't believe their eyes. Ma Jin extended his hand to Chulmuk. The man was annoyed. Yi Enshin decided to name his new technique Energy Accumulation Discharge. While he looked around, his captain approached him with a smile. Ma Jin threw a box to our boy. When he opened it, he was shocked by what was inside. Ma Jin told our boy he held a heavenly squad elixir. The elixir was a small golden pill. He revealed the elixir now belonged to Yi Enshin. The scene shifts. Radiant Squad members surround a building. At the entrance, we see the noble raceman and a woman looking around. This woman, Beck Mirio, is known as the Zen Demon's Sword. Mirio told the man Yi Enshin was a monster. She never expected him to defeat a skilled swordsman like Gukikwan, a heavenly squad blue robe. Mirio told her colleague that our boy is actually quite hardworking, humble, and polite. She said Yi Enshin is also good at seeing through martial arts. The man explained that they have never seen someone as talented as Yi Enshin. Mirio said that when she uses a technique while sparring, our boy somehow applies the same principle in a different posture. He executes the technique even more precisely than normal. Mirio told her colleague she'd hate to use exclusive martial arts in front of Yi Enshin. She explained that our boy has some innate talent for reinterpreting martial arts. The man agreed with his colleague. He said it's as if our boy learned martial arts a long time ago. He believed Yi Shin is a true monster. The scene shifts inside the building. We see Yi Shin on the floor with Ma Jin next to him. The captain told our boy he doesn't know how much energy he'll draw from the elixir. People usually absorb about 60–70%, but it could be less. Ma Jin explained that our boy would damage his energy core or blood vessels if he acted recklessly, feeling like he's absorbing less. He asked him not to obsess over absorbing it. Our boy assured him he understood. The captain said to consume an elixir by letting it flow into your core energy, then circulate that energy endlessly until it completely melts. Ma Jin assured our boy he'd step in if his energy circulation became unstable. He asked him not to be surprised and to act accordingly. After hearing this, Yi Shin put the elixir in his mouth and swallowed it. The moment he did this, he closed his eyes. Yi Shin felt his energy increase immediately after the elixir entered his body. A bright golden light shined from our boy's chest. Yi Shin began gathering energy around him. The moment he did this, Mirio and her colleague turned around. They felt his energy. They realized our boy had started absorbing the elixir. Mirio wondered how strong Yi Shin would become after absorbing the elixir. The elixir shined like the sun in our boy's body. Yi Shin carefully circulated its energy around his body. Ma Jin was surprised by what was happening. He was certain this was Yi Shin's first time absorbing an elixir. He didn't understand why his energy circulation was extremely natural. The captain could tell he didn't need to help our boy. After circulating his energy for a while, the energy around him dissipated. He opened his eyes and looked at his hands. He felt the new energy in his body. With a nervous look, the captain congratulated Yi Shin. He told him he had completely absorbed the elixir. While looking at his hand, our boy told his captain that his new core energy is quite strong. Ma Jin never expected him to completely absorb the elixir. He was more surprised that our boy did this without his help. While looking at his body, our boy sensed something. Now with more energy, Yi Shin could detect presences he couldn't before. He realized his seniors had surrounded the building. He wondered if they were protecting him because he's completely vulnerable while absorbing the elixir. Our boy turned to his captain and told him he was being protected while absorbing the elixir. With a serious look, Yi Shin asked his captain why everyone was being nice to him. Ma Jin smiled when he heard this. He told him they weren't taking special care of him. He assured him this is done for everyone in the Radiant Demon Squad. He explained to Yi Shin that things like this become natural once you risk your life a few times in the Jianghu. He reminded our boy that it's better for their squad if he becomes stronger. At night, we see Yi Shin meditating in his room. Our boy realized his previous energy couldn't compare to what he has now. Yi Shin decided to go to the training ground. He wanted to see how much stronger his martial arts had become. On his way to the training ground, the Zen sword demon called out to him. He was surprised to see her. Mirio asked if he came out because he couldn't wait to test himself. Yi Shin confirmed it. The Zen sword demon told him she'd realized something after watching his fight. Yi Shin was surprised. He congratulated her on learning something new. The woman said she'd only learned a small move. She apologized for interrupting his training plans. She asked if he wanted to spar. Yi Shin bowed, telling Mirio he could always train alone. He said it was a rare chance to spar with the Zen sword demon's palm strike technique. The woman put her hands together, asking Yi Shin to just call her Mirio. After their greeting, they put some distance between them. Yi Shin drew his sword, saying he'd make the first move. Mirio smiled and took a stance. He quickly rushed to attack her, trying to pierce her with his sword. Mirio dodged the attack, grabbing Yi Shin's hand. She covered her hand with energy and used it to hit him in the stomach. The attack pushed Yi Shin back. Before he could regain balance, Mirio moved closer. She covered her other hand with energy. Seeing this, Yi Shin did the same. When Mirio attacked, he used his hand to block. Unfortunately, he wasn't strong enough to fully block it. He got pushed back. Mirio told Yi Shin he was quite scary. Looking at his hand, he asked his senior if she trained to use the 1-inch strike. She said she did. Mirio explained that a swordsman learning Radiant Demon art can't only use a sword. The 1-inch strike is very useful in close combat. To deal with mixed body energies, a person first needs to destroy enhanced protection energy with the 1-inch strike. The Zen sword demon explained to Yi Shin that after using core energy in a burst discharge to increase tension, the 1-inch strike becomes really efficient. He glared at his senior when he heard this. He asked if he could say something. Mirio told him to speak freely. He revealed he'd been more sensitive to detecting energy since he was young. He told Mirio her core energy usage caught his attention. The woman was surprised. She asked Yi Shin if he really saw her core energy move. Yi Shin told his senior he couldn't see her core energy. Mirio asked how he knew its movement. He explained he simply saw the burst discharge flow and the core energy waves generated outside. Mirio found this hard to believe. She explained that even purple robe martial masters don't have this level of energy detection skills. In the desolate fortress, white, blue, black, and purple robes exist. Purple robe martial masters are at the top. The Zen sword demon realized she was talking to a genius. She decided to take Yi Enshin's advice. He revealed her palm strike was better suited for a puncturing technique than the 1-inch strike. Yi Enshin, recalling the fight, explained that the technique might appear suitable for a 1-inch strike. He told Mirio her technique would be more potent if she used it for puncturing. Mirio seemed offended by this. She asked him if he thought she was an idiot who couldn't use a simple puncturing technique. She then asked if he believed that was why she hadn't used it. Yi Enshin realized her anger. He apologized for his upsetting comment. To his surprise, the Zen sword demon turned, apologized to him, and thanked him. Yi Enshin watched her leave the training ground. The scene shifts to Mirio in her captain's office. She told him Yi Enshin had figured out her martial arts. She asked if he'd ever told the boy about her martial arts origin. Ma-jin told the woman to stop spouting nonsense. He said he'd never share something so important. The Zen sword demon was surprised. She wondered how Yi Enshin understood her martial arts. Ma-jin asked his subordinate if the boy discovered she tweaked the heavenly demon's sacred art, a lost martial art. Mirio replied that Yi Enshin probably found out. Ma-jin smiled at this news. He stood and told his subordinate that Yi Enshin is special. He assured her it'd be tough to find anyone like him in the Jianghu. He explained that people like the boy occasionally appear. They become pinnacle martial masters, considered the strongest alongside the noble race and iron race. Mirio asked her captain if Yi Enshin was truly that special. The man confirmed it. He told her the boy is the desolate fortress's future. Ma-jin advised his subordinate not to underestimate his advice or consider it trivial. The Zen sword demon asked her captain if he meant she should discuss the heavenly demon's sacred arts with the boy. Ma-jin explained that learning martial arts alone has limits. He told her he lacked time to help her. He assured her seeking Yi Enshin's help was the best course. He revealed the boy possesses qualities of a martial arts founder, able to adapt any martial art to one's body. Mirio was shocked to hear this. Ma-jin told her not to worry. He pulled out a scroll, revealing a small mission just came in. Ma-jin ordered Mirio to team up with Yi Enshin and observe how he handles life and death situations. He asked her to see if Yi Enshin was truly special. The man assured her the boy would become the Radiant Demon Squad's next captain within 5 years. Next we see Mayong, Mirio, Yi Enshin, and Wan Chong riding horses. En route, the Zen sword demon recalled her captain's request to check if Yi Enshin was worthy of becoming her superior. The scene shifts. The group arrives at the Xinping County stage station. Dismounting, Wan Chong complained about riding for 10 straight days. Looking at his teammates, the boy remembered their captain's words. Ma-jin said people bringing offerings to the Blood Flame cult settled in a village, routinely slaughtering livestock and ruining crops. The village is in Xinping County, south of Shanxi. Usually, the Xinping branch would handle it. However, the Manhwa sect's elixir was stolen. Wan Chong was surprised. He asked his captain if the elixir was the Plum Blossom Pill, comparable to the Shaolin Temple's Great Revitalization Pill. Ma-jin thought so. He revealed the situation escalated, now involving all of Shanxi. He explained the branch lacked spare manpower, so they asked the main branch for help. He told the group he wanted them to handle the issue. He immediately remembered his captain's words. The boy thought about the Blood Flame cult. While he was thinking, someone asked why they were just arriving when help was requested so long ago. A portly noble appeared, saying he'd be respectful since they're the Empire's sword, but then asked why they were so slow. He seemed let down that the desolate fortress sent a bunch of kids. He questioned if they could even handle the enemy. Yi Engson ignored him, asking his seniors what they were looking at. That annoyed the noble. Miang explained that ignorant officials are everywhere. He said he'd seen many who never met a true martial artist, thinking the desolate fortress was their personal broom. The official got furious. Shocked, Miang dared speak so rudely. Yi Engson asked Miang if he could block the official's mute acupoint. The elf told him to go for it, not wanting to waste time. The man tried to yell, but our boy blocked his acupoint. He started sweating, realizing he couldn't speak. Yi Engson told him they don't take his orders. While the official struggled, Yi Engson and the others just walked past him. Walking, Wan Chang asked his friend if he also learned acupoint blocking. Yi Engson said he did. Wan Chang then told our boy it felt disrespectful to call him by his name. Wan Chang said he'd call him Warrior Yang. Yi Engson, calling him the Desolate Fortress Sacred Warrior, told him to do what he wanted. Wan Chang was pretty proud of his new name. As they talked, Miang put a hand on our boy's shoulder, reminding him the Murim and government don't mix. But with the government, the Desolate Fortress gets more freedom than most martial artists because the imperial family allows it. The elf said it's fine to mess with idiots who think they control them. Mirio moved closer, warning Yi Engson not to overdo it. Even so, she still praised his actions. While they chatted, Wanchang noticed something weird about a distant village. He told his teammates something was wrong there. When the group looked closely at the village, they saw a red-haired man holding a child in one hand and a bloody sword in the other. Villagers seemed to be trying to stop him. The man lifted the child, telling him to be quiet. Yi Engson instantly knew it was a blood-flamed cultist. He started running towards the village. Before he got far, Miang zoomed past him. Our boy was shocked by his senior's speed, realizing it was the noble race's mobility art. It's called Grass Flutter. Mirio and Wanchang also ran past Yi Engson. That annoyed him. He hadn't trained much in mobility arts. The young manner's lack of proper mobility arts experience was a huge disadvantage. Smiling, the cultist used his sword to cut a villager. The man dropped. Another villager quickly rushed to check on him. Other villagers demanded he hand over the child. The man noticed the child crying, told him to shut up. He wondered if the child was full of life energy because he was young. While yelling at the child, the man heard something behind him. Turning, he saw Miang rushing to attack. The cultist managed to block the elf's strike. He quickly took a defensive stance. The moment he did, he noticed the child wasn't with him anymore. Miang had taken the child during his attack. The man saw the symbol on Miang's clothes, realizing he was from the desolate fortress. He was shocked to see a blue-robe martial master. When the cultist turned, he saw Mirio. He couldn't believe two blue-robe martial masters were right there. The man gritted his teeth in anger, releasing a huge amount of energy. Miang and Mirio immediately took a stance. Surprisingly, the man jumped away after collecting his energy. They didn't get what was happening. They thought the cultist would fight them. Mirio realized his speed came from sacrificing his lifespan. She said blood flame cultists are the worst. She turned and saw her juniors arriving. The scene then shifts to an inn. Mirio told Wanchang his martial arts were okay for a white robe, but his stamina was weak. She told him to train it from now on. He bowed, saying he'd try his best. The woman told Yanshin his basics were surprisingly good. She said finding someone like him was rare, even among the 9 great sects and 8 great clans. She noticed this when he ran without techniques. The Zen Sword Demon told our boy no one in the Radiant Demon Squad could match his physical abilities. She pointed at Miang, saying he couldn't match Yanshin physically. Miang laughed, telling Yanshin it was true and not to be sad about not knowing mobility arts. He looked at our boy. He seemed a bit sad. The elf stood, asking if he wanted to learn mobility arts from him. Yanshin was shocked to hear this. He asked if he was sure. Miang explained he couldn't teach him his household's martial arts, even for mobility. He said this mobility art is how the noble race moves. Miang said people can't use it even if they know it, but he thought our boy might have a chance. Yanshin couldn't believe he could learn noble race movement. Miang told him not to get too excited. He revealed no one in the Radiant Demon Squad had learned it. With a nervous look, the Zen Sword Demon told her juniors Miang had taught those who wanted to learn, but no one succeeded. Miang gathered energy at his feet. Smiling, the elf explained this mobility art doesn't rely on anything physical. Yanshin was surprised his senior gathered energy at his feet. He was sure there were no sudden core energy movements. Miang revealed, this is just how the noble race walks and runs. The elf started walking on a tree. Yanshin noticed his light footsteps and couldn't sense his presence. Our boy could tell his senior wasn't using core energy. Instead, something similar to core energy supported his body. After looking around, Miang carefully jumped down from the tree. Even descending, he looked like a falling leaf. Smiling, Miang asked his junior if he understood the technique. Our boy explained he was thinking how to use core energy to create wind. He said he didn't have noble race authority. Miang was shocked. He asked Yanshin if he could tell it was nature's energy just by watching once. Our boy asked his senior if that wasn't why he showed him the technique. The others didn't even know how to react. Yanshin thanked his senior for the good ideas. Our boy started thinking of ways to recreate this mobility art. Mirio and Miang were shocked. Wanchang realized this would take time. He turned, saying he'd get them a place to stay. Later that night, Yanshin was meditating. He thought about nature's energy. After a bit of thought, Yanshin released some energy. Outside the inn, Miang slept on a sleeping bag he'd tied to a tree. While asleep, the elf heard a door open. When he looked down, he saw our boy. He stepped out and stood in the middle of the area. He looked down and gathered energy at his feet. Miang was shocked to see our boy use the noble race's mobility art. Next, Wanchang was training outside. He seemed sad. He couldn't believe Yanshin had only been there a month and already learned the noble race's mobility art. Miang explained that our boy has the qualities of a martial arts founder. He told him even their captain couldn't learn the mobility art, choosing to focus on his own instead. Mirio remembered her captain's words when she heard this. She recalled Ma Jin asking her to see if Yanshin was qualified to be her superior. While she thought, Wanchang asked if sending our boy out alone was okay. Mirio reminded him that the cultists were scared and hid for a month. She said it's just a reconnaissance mission, and Yanshin is enough for it. The scene shifts to the mountains. Yanshin ran with his mobility art. He noticed his body felt much lighter. The speed and effort he used were incomparable to before. His body felt amazing. While searching the mountains, our boy found a cabin. After finding the cultists' hideout, Yanshin decided to return to the inn to inform the others. Before he could leave, he saw something horrifying. A cultist was drinking a child's blood, sucking it from the boy's neck. Our boy became extremely mad seeing this. He watched the man sink his teeth into the child's skin. While drinking the boy's blood, the cultist noticed something odd. He saw someone standing in front of him. It was our boy. The man put the child down and grabbed his sword. He asked Yanshin who he was. He quickly realized our boy was from the desolate fortress because of his outfit. He smiled when he understood this. He grabbed his sword hilt and asked our boy if he was alone. Yanshin didn't respond. The man assumed he was right. He called our boy a fool. He couldn't believe he came alone, even as a white robe. He told Yanshin to blame his own bad luck. The moment he said this, our boy beheaded him with frightening speed. The man didn't even know when his head was cut off. It flew up and fell to the ground. After dealing with the man, Yanshin turned to the child on the ground. His own family's slaughter came to mind. He infused his sword with energy. He decided to eliminate all cultists. He told the child to wait, promising a burial after everything finished. Right after saying this, he took a stance. He used the Radiant Demon Art to find the building's weak points. The moment he found it, he used another Radiant Demon Art technique, the Swift Sword style. His attack ripped the cabin apart. The cultists inside were shocked. Some were torn apart by the strike. While the last cultist tried to understand what was happening, Yanshin rushed to attack him. He stabbed him in the chest. He pinned the man to the ground. Yanshin reminded the cultists their cult believed the weak were prey for the strong. He asked him how it felt to be killed by someone stronger. He pulled out his sword after saying this. When he looked up, he saw a huge cave hidden behind the cabin. Yanshin felt a lot of energy from the cave. He realized this was not just a hideout for Bloodflame cultists, but also a branch of the cult. Before he could enter the cave, he sensed something. He saw more cultists rushing to attack him. The men couldn't believe he'd carelessly attacked their branch. One of them said he'd kill him for the spilled blood. Those poor guys didn't know they were about to fight an overpowered protagonist. Yanshin noticed the guy who said he'd kill him was the cultist they first met. The cultist also recognized our boy. He promised to make him pay with his blood. The moment he heard this, Yanshin rushed into the men. He used his sword to attack them at a speed they couldn't react to. The cultists didn't even know what hit them. They all got torn apart without any resistance. Our boy watched their blood splash everywhere. Immediately, he took care of the men. A much more sinister energy came from the cave. Someone said he never expected a white robe to cause such a ruckus here. Yanshin noticed a man coming out of the cave. He could tell the cultists on the ground didn't have such dreary energy. Our boy was surprised by the energy the man released. He could tell this man was on a completely different level than those he'd fought so far. This man was quite huge, with blood-red eyes. Yanshin had heard that when a person's body part returns to its original state, it means they've reached the level of refining their core energy. Our boy realized this was the strongest person in charge here, the branch leader. People like him are called Bloodmaster Swordsmen in the Bloodflame cult. The cultist pulled out his blade. With a creepy smile, he told Yanshin he'd use his pain to strengthen his blood. Our boy got nervous hearing this. Bloodmaster Swordsmen are the Bloodflame cult's branch leaders. To regular people or subordinates, they're practically death gods. Few martial masters can actually kill them. Yanshin and the man stared each other down. Our boy powered up his sword with energy. He decided to go all out before the man got close. Our boy realized his past wins came from barraging opponents before they could react. He quickly took a stance. The man smiled, saying the Desolate Fortress title made him too arrogant. Immediately, Yanshin activated the limit-releasing technique. He swung his sword incredibly fast. The man dodged, surprised by the speed. He quickly stepped back. Our boy charged, attacking fiercely once he closed the distance. The cultist blocked the attacks, but it was too fast. Our boy was pushing him back. He smiled at Yanshin's speed, saying he wasn't bad. Our boy couldn't believe the man said he wasn't bad. He remembered his family's dead bodies. He remembered that day's feelings. He gritted his teeth in anger. He reminded himself he wasn't his old self. He made his attacks much heavier. The man was surprised by his sword's weight. While the man struggled to block, Yanshin grabbed his sword hand. He used his energy to twist the man's entire arm. The cultist screamed in pain. He got more enraged. He gathered energy in his other hand, rushing to attack Yanshin, calling him a bastard. Before his hand could touch him, our boy used his sword to cut it off. The man screamed in pain. While he screamed, Yenshin seized the chance. He stabbed him in the chest. The cultist spat out blood. Yenshin twisted his sword, messing up his insides. The man couldn't believe he lost to a mere white robe. With an angry look, the boy told him he must have only inflicted pain, never received it. The moment he said this, he pulled out his sword. The cultist fell, releasing some dreary energy. Breathing heavily, Yenshin looked around. He saw a large hole nearby. He put his sword away and moved close to the hole. He found the villagers' bodies inside. Their bodies were completely drained of blood. Yenshin felt a pang of sorrow seeing their faces, so he prayed for their peaceful rest. Later that night, Yenshin returned to the inn, shocking everyone. He was covered in blood, carrying a child on his back. The group immediately stood up when they saw him. He handed the child to Wanchong, who was surprised the child was still alive. Mirio noticed he'd fought, asking if he was okay. Yenshin realized his blood-covered state confused her. He told her he was fine, explaining the blood wasn't his, and that he'd found the Blood Flame cult branch. Mirio was relieved he was safe, but then realized he'd mentioned finding the cultist branch. She and the others asked if he was serious. Yenshin told them there were 8 red-haired cultists, including the one causing trouble in the county, plus a strong cultist with red and black hair. Mirio and Myung were stunned. The Zen Sword Demon told him the red and black-haired cultist was a Blood Master swordsman, confirming he'd truly found the cult's branch. She couldn't believe the Blood Flame cult had established roots there, preying on the county's people. Myung grabbed his sword. He explained the desolate fortress targeted the Blood Flame cult for destruction, telling his teammates they needed to raid the branch. The elf praised Yenshin's work, telling him to rest. Mirio tapped his shoulder, saying she'd join Myung to clear the branch. Yenshin told them they didn't need to go anywhere. He said they just needed government troops to finish the job. He added that the troops needed to help the victims. Mirio and Myung were surprised. Wunchang couldn't understand why they'd need government troops. Mirio turned, asking Yenshin if he'd defeated all the cultists and the Bloodmaster swordsmen. He told them he'd killed them all. The group couldn't believe it. Myung asked if he'd really destroyed a Blood Flame cult branch alone. Yenshin replied that the mobility art he taught him really helped. The seniors didn't know how to react. The Zen Sword Demon told him Bloodmaster swordsmen have strange regeneration abilities, asking if the fight was dangerous. Yenshin was surprised about regeneration, saying he hadn't seen anything like it. Mirio explained some martial artists had pushed them to near death, but then died from backstabs because they didn't know about the Bloodmaster swordsman's regeneration. Yenshin picked something up, placing it on the table. It was the Bloodmaster swordsman's head. Everyone was shocked to see it. He realized things would have been bad if he hadn't cut off the cultist's head. Myung smiled, saying the fight was over, even with the cultist's regenerative abilities. Next, at the desolate fortress, Myung and Mirio reported their mission to their captain. Ma Jian never expected a Bloodmaster swordsman in such a simple mission. He realized the mission wasn't all bad. It showed them what white robes can do. He asked them to describe Yenshin's behavior in a life-or-death situation. The Zen Sword Demon, though absent, doubted our boy faced a life-or-death scenario. Myung asked his captain for clarification. Ma Jian explained that a Bloodmaster swordsman meant it was a Blood Flame cult branch. He said such a branch would be dangerous for white robes. He asked if they destroyed it to protect their juniors. Mirio told her captain they saw nothing themselves. She explained Yenshin went on solo recon and wiped out the whole branch alone. Ma Jian was shocked by this news. Looking nervous, he asked if Yenshin went alone and killed all Blood Flame cult members, including the Bloodmaster swordsman. Myung confirmed it. Ma Jian grew more nervous. This outcome was far from his expectations. The scene shifts to our boy's room. He's looking out at the city. Wanchong was happy to be back. He hadn't realized his attachment to the place. He turned to Yenshin, asking if he noticed the electric atmosphere upon their return. Our boy realized he was right. He told his friend people were celebrating a festival. Wanchong said he was wrong. He revealed the city's rowdy because the former Divine Sword Squad captain returned. He said the man's back to fight for Elder Council leader. Yenshin was surprised. Wanchong said the former captain brought a boy, adopted son of the famed Desolate Ma clan. He's rumored to be talented. Our boy clenched his fist in anger, remembering the Desolate Ma clan was his mother's. The clan never visited Xinyue County, not for his mother's wedding, nor after his birth. They never reached out. Yenshin smiled, thinking about it. He realized this story was typical village gossip. It was like the clan cut ties with their daughter for marrying into a lower-class household. The next day, Yenshin's in his captain's office. He asked if he'd been summoned. Ma Jian stared at our boy. He noticed his energy was different. He found it amazing his energy had changed again. He could tell Yenshin didn't annihilate a Blood Flame cult branch by chance. Our boy didn't get why his captain just stared. Ma Jian stood up. He revealed the fortress master wanted to see them both. Our boy was surprised she wanted to see him. He quickly followed his captain. He asked if she'd ever asked to meet white robe warriors after their enlistment meeting. Ma Jian told him it had never happened. Yunshin didn't know how to react. Stepping outside, several blue robe warriors greeted Ma Jian. The blue robes noticed the lightning genius with Ma Jian. They'd heard he killed a bloodmaster swordsman. They couldn't believe such a young boy was so skilled. As they walked, Ma Jian told Yunshin it's normal for others to notice him. He explained that destroying a blood flame cult branch alone made him a martial master in the desolate fortress. Our boy accepted his captain's explanation. Even though blue robes were impressed, Yunshin didn't care much. His concept of time was different. He lacked time's luxury. He needed to reach divine sword captain strength before 20 to survive. He had to go from white to blue, then pass black robes like his captain, becoming a purple robe divine squad sword captain, leading 17 squads like the Radiant Demon Squad. Then, Yunshin and Ma Jian got to the fortress master's door, and his captain knocked. Our boy heard the fortress master say she heard he had a grandchild. Someone said that lowly blood doesn't go far. Ma Jian knocked right after hearing that. The person then said he'd be happy if his grandchild didn't shame the Ma clan. Yunshin was surprised. The person then said the kid next to him was his successor. Even not from the main family, the boy was super talented. Right after the man said that, Yunshin and his captain walked in. They saw the fortress master, an old man and a young boy. Yunshin noticed the fortress master staring at him. Ma Jian put his hands together. Our boy was shocked. Remembering he should greet the fortress master, he quickly joined his captain in greeting the fortress master. Our boy realized this man was the former Divine Sword Squad captain, a purple robe martial master stronger than Ma Jian. The old man turned to him, asking if he was the lightning genius from the Radiant Demon Squad. He introduced himself as Ma Yanjiak, saying he used to lead the Divine Sword Squad. He told our boy he'd informed the fortress master his grandson wanted to meet a martial master of his caliber. Yanjiak told our boy it was nice to meet him. Yunshin then realized this man didn't know who he was. He carefully looked at the fortress master. Yanjiak told Yunshin he'd heard about him recently. He noticed the energy Yunshin was giving off. He told our boy the rumors didn't do him justice. He hadn't expected Yunshin to be so accomplished, finding it hard to believe he'd achieved so much so young. Our boy put his hands together, greeting his grandfather. He introduced himself as Young Yunshin of the Radiant Demon Squad. Yanjiak was shocked our boy called him grandfather. Ma Jian and the young man were also surprised. The fortress master actually smiled, seeming to enjoy the show. Yanjiak asked what he was talking about. The moment he said that, he realized our boy's surname was Young. He couldn't believe he was looking at his grandson. He wanted to ask him again to confirm. Yunshin just greeted him again. Ma Jian was more shocked than anyone. He asked our boy if he was truly his sister's son. Yunshin didn't know what he meant. He couldn't believe his captain was his mother's brother and his uncle. He apologized to Ma Jian for not greeting him as his nephew, explaining he wasn't very sure about his mother's clan relations. He revealed that even people in his father's destroyed clan had pretty much given up on him. Ma Jian and Yanjiak were shocked to hear the young manor was destroyed. Yanjiak asked if he was sure about what he was saying. Their reactions showed Yunshin they didn't know the young manor fell. Yanjiak then asked the fortress master if he could speak with his grandson alone. Yunshin was surprised. Before the fortress master responded, our boy stepped up. He told his grandfather his mother wasn't part of their clan. He said he didn't belong with them. He explained he respected his accomplishments as a desolate fortress warrior. He told him he was uncomfortable having other personal conversations. Yanjiak was surprised. The fortress master, smiling, told the lightning genius she liked his spirit. The young man said he wouldn't acknowledge Yunshin. He refused to acknowledge someone like our boy as his grandfather's direct descendant. He turned to Yanjiak, saying Yunshin shouldn't disrespect the former Divine Sword Squad captain. The old man didn't seem to hear him, still surprised he was looking at his biological grandson. Yunshin realized this idiot forgot he was with the fortress master. He told him he didn't need his acknowledgement. He tapped his emblem, telling him he wasn't from the Ma clan. He said he was the Radiant Demon Squad's lightning genius. Our boy smiled, saying this. The idiot was annoyed by his words. He turned to Yanjiak, asking to duel Yunshin. He said he'd prove our boy wasn't worthy of being his blood relative. With a cold gaze, Yunshin told him he had no reason to accept a duel. He explained if he requested a duel for learning, he'd agree. He said he didn't need to prove his value to their clan. The idiot was annoyed. Yunshin noticed the idiot had 2 gauntlets tied to his clothes. He realized the boy learned the Ma clan's fist strikes. The fortress master told them to stop talking. She said Yanjiak was an old friend who traveled with her a long time, and Yunshin was a promising subordinate. She told them any conflict between them would put her in a tough spot. She asked them to settle it like martial artists. She asked them to bet what they wanted from each other. The Fortress Master knew the duel wouldn't benefit the Lightning Genius. She promised to grant him a request, no matter the outcome. Our boy was surprised. He asked her if she'd even grant him the item he wanted. She told him that wasn't possible right now. She explained even his grandfather couldn't get the item because he'd already received a different reward for his Divine Sword Squad captain contribution. She revealed to Yanshin she could actually teach him one of her vital energy techniques. Everyone was shocked. They couldn't believe our boy had a chance to learn martial arts from someone known as the strongest in the world. The young man was also happy. He wanted to learn the Fortress Master's martial arts too. Yanshin realized this boy would learn martial arts from the Fortress Master instead of following Yanjiak's will if he won. He couldn't believe his mother's clan would take in this selfish person as a successor. He decided to accept the duel. The scene shifts to everyone at a training ground. The Fortress Master told the boys they had the whole place. She asked them to do whatever they wanted. Yanshin noticed the boy wore his gauntlets. He smiled, cracking his knuckles. Our boy ignored him, turning aside. He saw his grandfather and uncle. He told himself the Radiant Demon Squad was good enough for him now. He said he didn't need the Ma clan. He got ready, extending his hand, and told the boy to start. The boy got mad, calling Yanshin a jerk. He quickly rushed to attack. Our boy blocked the attack by just moving his hand. The boy's punch created a lot of air pressure as it passed him. He turned, smiling at Yanshin. The boy had more energy, so our boy figured he'd used a lot of elixir. With a grin, the boy clenched his fist, gathering energy. Yanshin quickly activated his limit-releasing technique. The young man attacked more aggressively. Yanshin easily dodged, one hand behind his back. The boy got annoyed. He gathered energy, attacked again, and asked why our boy wasn't using his sword. Yanshin pushed his hand away. He told him his fist strike techniques were good, so he wasn't using his sword. The boy got angrier hearing this. He gathered energy in his legs, crushing the ground. He charged at our boy, his hand covered in energy. Yanshin wasn't surprised to see him close. He used his hand to block the attack. The attack only pushed him back a little. He landed softly. The young man was shocked his attack didn't connect. Yanjiak was also shocked by his grandson's skill. Majin wasn't surprised at all. The Fortress Master smiled, watching the fight. Yanshin smiled when he landed. He told the boy he'd thought of a strong fist strike technique. He took a stance, saying the fight would end in 10 counts. The boy was annoyed by this. Yanjiak knew his grandson was talented, but didn't expect him to try ending the fight in 10 moves. Majin explained his father misunderstood our boy. He told him Yanshin meant he'd create a new martial art in 10 seconds. Yanshin noticed something strange about the boy. He gathered more energy. He told him he'd do his best in those 10 moves. The boy took a different stance. He said the technique was called the Fusion Fist Strike. Yanshin was relieved. Instead of getting angry, the boy calmed himself from the core energy waves. Our boy could tell his world-respected grandfather hadn't taught the young man carelessly. Yanshin told the boy to use any strike he wanted. He said he could even use a palm strike. He asked him to just do his best. He told him he'd show him plenty, no matter the strike. The boy got angrier. He charged at Yanshin. The moment our boy saw his fist coming, he clenched his own. He and the boy attacked each other with their fists. Yanshin used a technique called energy accumulation discharge. His punch sent the boy reeling. The young man felt Yanshin's power and was stunned. Our boy kept going. He rushed at the boy. Majin noticed something strange about Yanshin. He saw our boy gained more energy after his first attack. He should have lost some after discharging it. When Yanshin got close, he attacked with an energy-covered hand. This was the accumulated energy second strike. The young man put his hands together to block it, but Yanshin's punch broke through his guard. Majin realized our boy got the idea for this attack from the fusion fist strike. The young man couldn't believe he was pushed back. He couldn't believe Yanshin was getting stronger. He gritted his teeth in anger. He looked at his master's face. Yanjiak showed no impression or disappointment. The young man gathered more energy in his fist. Yanshin told him he was doing well. He asked him to show more, saying he could do anything he wanted. The boy was annoyed our boy treated the duel like a lesson. He told him he was too arrogant. He charged with a very fast palm technique. Yanshin used the accumulated energy third strike. The attack pushed the boy's palm away. Before he hit the ground, Yanshin grabbed his clothes. The boy was shocked by this. Our boy gathered energy in his palm. He found palm strikes interesting. The young man couldn't believe Yanshin was about to use one. Our boy pulled him close and used the accumulated energy fourth strike. The attack sent the young man flying. Majin and his father were surprised our boy used a palm strike. The Fortress Master smiled gently. The boy fell to his knees, clutching his chest. He coughed in pain. Yanshin just glared at him with cold eyes. The young man got scared when he understood our boy's power. Majin and Yanjiak realized our boy created a fist art that strengthens as the fight continues. They couldn't believe Yanshin made such a martial art so quickly. Our boy gently circulated energy through his body. He looked at his hands. He didn't expect to create a martial art that could be called a famed ultimate technique. The fortress master told him the fight was really good. She didn't think she'd witness someone creating a martial art. Yanshin said he was embarrassed. He asked if he hadn't wasted her time. The fortress master told him he was too humble. She asked if he'd decided on a name for his new technique. Yanshin told her the new martial arts name, Infinite Blossom Fist Strike. The fortress master smiled hearing the name. She realized he meant a fist strike that blooms endlessly. She called it perfect. Majin congratulated his subordinate. He said he created an incredible martial art. Yanshin looked at his hands. He said he only worked out the framework. He wasn't satisfied with the moves. He told his captain his palm strikes rely completely on the radiant demon arts. Majin smiled. He assured Yanshin few white robes could handle his new technique. He said he always tries not to be surprised, but Yanshin always shocks him, growing stronger so fast. Yanshin knew his remaining time. He told his captain his growth wasn't the best pace. Yang Jiak moved closer to him. He asked what he needed to do for forgiveness. Majin and the adopted grandson were shocked. Desolate Fortress's purple robe martial masters are super powerful. They're like gods, able to kill anyone their energy detects. Yanshin couldn't believe someone so powerful was humbling himself to him. He glared at his grandfather. He said he was uncomfortable with that. He explained to Yang Jiak they can't turn back time. His mother's clan members are strangers to him. He told him he's now part of the Radiant Demon Squad family. Yang Jiak said they could start building a relationship now. Yanshin replied he didn't have time to build his martial art. The old man was surprised by his grandson's excuse. Yanshin explained he won against his adopted grandson in the impulsive duel. He asked Yang Jiak to respect this as a martial artist. The fortress master interrupted. She told Yang Jiak it was time for Yanshin's reward since he won. She told him she'd teach him a martial art of his choice whenever he's ready. He could make one request from the Ma clan. Yanshin told the fortress master he'd inform the Ma clan of his request through his captain. Ma Jin was shocked. He couldn't believe Yanshin wanted him as a messenger. On their way back to the office, Ma Jin called out to Yanshin. He told him he had a mission that would help him. Yanshin wondered what his captain meant. The scene shifts to Xi'an. People walk on the street. Ma Jin and his squad members were also there. They wore normal clothes, not uniforms. Wanchang, Miyang, and Mirio were on the team. Walking with his teammates, Yanshin thought about his captain's words. The scene shifts to the past. Ma Jin mentioned the plum blossom pill. He said the pill is a Manhwa sect elixir, a Murim treasure. The Manhwa sect lost it. So many sects and martial artists are looking for it. Yanshin asked his captain if everyone was scrambling for the elixir. Ma Jin said yes. He told him they'd accompany the Manhwa sect to search for the elixir. He said they had an important reason to search with them, to reduce casualties during the search. Yanshin realized he could use his sword and experience a real fight in this big conflict. Ma Jin told him he was correct. He assured him the mission would be helpful. He explained it'd be a good chance to face all sorts of famed martial artists. He said the amount he'd learn and grow from fighting would be incomparable to training alone. Back to the present, Wanchang expressed his regret. He couldn't believe they couldn't wear their uniforms because the desolate fortress couldn't reveal its support for the Manhwa sect. Ma Jin smiled when he saw the man's expression. At the building's entrance, a man from their group stepped out. The men appeared to be leaving. The man seemed to recognize Ma Jin. He realized these were the martial masters from the desolate fortress. He told them they'd been waiting. Wanchang and Yanshin noticed the plum blossom emblem on the man's clothes. They realized these were Manhwa sect members. The man greeted Ma Jin. The captain clasped his hands, greeting the man known as Sage Qianzhu. Yanshin had heard of this man. Sage Qianzhu leads the Plum Blossom Swordsmen and is a top martial master. To match his status, a black robe like Ma Jin's had to be involved in the mission. Just looking at him, Yanshin felt the same way he did meeting his captain. Qianzhu greeted the Zen Sword Demon. He called Mei Yang the Azurite Demonic Swordsman. He told Ma Jin he already knew who they were. He said introductions weren't needed since they'd fought together before. Yanshin was surprised Mei Yang was known as the Demonic Swordsman. While looking at his senior, he saw a Plum Blossom Swordsman yawning. He looked bored. Qianzhu approached Yanshin and looked him over. He said he now understood the desolate fortress's mindset on this issue. He told Ma Jin he never expected him to bring his disciple. Yanshin realized the man assumed he was Ma Jin's disciple because he wasn't wearing his uniform. Before Ma Jin could explain, Qianzhu raised his sword, interrupting him. He told him our boy was extraordinary. He asked Ma Jin if he was open to a friendly duel with their sect leader's disciple. He assured him it'd be fun. The captain smiled hearing this. He knew Qianzhu was trying to show Manhwa sect's superiority. Since they'd traveled together, it'd be awkward for key members to fight. That's why they wanted their future generations to determine hierarchy. Ma Jin turned to Yanshin to see if he'd accept the duel. Our boy just shrugged. He was basically telling his captain to do what he wanted. Ma Jin smiled seeing this. The bored, Plum Blossom swordsman told his teammates they were making him do extra work. He said he'd only need 5 moves to win. Qianzhu was annoyed by his arrogance. He told him he'd learned something here. He advised him to do his best. The young man smiled hearing this. He said he didn't know what he could learn here. He'd heard the radiant demon arts were sense-based. Yangshin stepped out to represent his group. He wondered about the depth of Manhua sect's martial arts. He reminded the boy he'd said he'd only need 5 moves. The young man smiled hearing this. He asked Yanshin if that sentence offended him. He apologized. He told him he wasn't trying to underestimate him. He said he had tough training today, so he unknowingly spoke his thoughts. He introduced himself as Yu Xian. Wenchang heard his name and was surprised. He couldn't believe he saw the Manhua sect's sword dragon. He knew Xian was the sect leader's top disciple. Mirio told him that Xian is known as the Manhua sect's future. Rumors say he's already learning the Violet Dawn sacred art. Wenchang couldn't believe Yanshin was supposed to beat someone this strong. Our boy dropped his bag. He carefully moved his wrist. With a smile, he introduced himself as young Yanshin. Xian smiled at Yanshin. He activated Invisible Wind Stride and charged Yanshin. He attacked with a palm technique. It had many moves. Our boy realized it was the Falling Blossom Palm Strike. Xian attacked, a confident smile on his face. Yanshin activated the Infinite Blossom Fist's first strike, Vortex. His technique disrupted Xian's flow. Xian had to bend his head to dodge. He was shocked by what happened. He wondered what created this force. Yanshin quickly charged the boy. When he got close, he covered his leg with energy. He hit the ground hard. He attacked Jian with his second strike, Formidable Wall. The boy struggled to deflect Yanshin's attack with Falling Blossom Palm Strike. Our boy realized the Manhua sect's Falling Blossom Palm Strike was enough to inspire the Infinite Blossom Fist Strike's third move. He asked Jian to keep playing a bit longer. He told him he wanted to finish the fight in 10 moves. Jian was annoyed to hear this. Our boy took another step. He clenched his fist and punched Jian, sending him flying. Yanshin didn't let the boy rest. He closed the distance with Jian. He gathered a lot of energy in his fist. His energy looked like a blossoming flower. He landed many punches all over Jian's body. The boy screamed in pain. He fell and rolled on the ground. The Manhua sect members were shocked by what happened. Yanshin looked at his fist. He realized he could use the last attack as his third strike. He decided to name the third strike the Flower Strike. Yanshin noticed the quiet everywhere. When he looked up, everyone was staring at him. They were all shocked by what they'd just seen. They couldn't believe the talented Manhua sect disciple lost after 3 moves. They wondered who our boy was. Qianzhu was annoyed by their words. He ordered a sect member to get Xian. A huge man stepped out and carried the boy on his shoulder. Qianzhu turned to Majin. He told him the Desolate Fortress had been raising a dragon. He asked if the Desolate Fortress still wanted more Murim control. The captain said he was overreacting. He told him the Desolate Fortress wouldn't do anything as long as no harm came to the country's people. Qianzhu told him to stop using logical excuses. He then turned to our boy and called out to him. He complimented his martial arts performance. Even though Yanshin's last attack resembled the Falling Blossom Palm Strike, Qianzhu recognized it as completely different. He knew Yanshin hadn't learned any of his sect's martial arts. He told our boy he never expected to see a similar martial art. He said the duel would motivate their sect leader's disciple, who had become lazy in training. He told Yanshin that the Manhua sect would welcome him as a guest if he ever left the Desolate Fortress. Majin and his group were shocked by this. Majin turned to the sage, telling him he'd gone too far. Qianzhu raised his hand, showing he understood. He admitted his greed made him get ahead of himself. He apologized to Majin. He told him he couldn't help it, seeing such brilliant talent before him. Someone telepathically called Yanshin. Our boy was surprised to hear a voice in his head. The person was Mirio. The Zen Sword Demon told him he looked like he was struggling to stand. Yanshin smiled, hearing this. He revealed he'd used all his core energy in his last attack. The Infinite Blossom Fist Strike uses burst discharge in all its stances, consuming a lot of inner energy. Our boy realized he still needed a sword for real fights. The scene changed, taking us to an inn. After Yanshin explained things to his seniors, Myung told him to quickly open his center energy core. Our boy was surprised. Myung explained he needed to compensate for his lack of inner energy with stamina. Yanshin asked him how that related to his center energy core. Mirio realized he didn't know the center energy core's function. The Zen Sword Demon said the center energy core has an efficacy even the upper Danteon, which supposedly houses the divine mind, can't provide. She told Yanshin it would give him more robust inner energy. Our boy found this strange. Mirio explained it just meant higher efficacy. She asked if he'd heard of martial masters fighting 7 days and nights without tiring. Yanshin said he had. Mirio explained masters do this by training their center energy core. It stabilizes core energy, letting them use energy-draining skills repeatedly. Even powerful attacks usually won't disrupt their energy flow. She revealed Miang fought the Namgung's strongest swordsman thanks to his center energy core. Yanshin asked the Zen Sword Demon how to open his center energy core. The woman told him it would open naturally over time as he trained his lower energy core. She advised him to circulate energy around his upper body. Yanshin called her senior, asking if there was a faster way to get the center energy core. Mirio was shocked. She smiled gently, unable to believe our boy called her his senior. Yanshin didn't understand her smile. Next, we're at a restaurant. Everyone turned to Mirio when she screamed the battle maniac's name. Even Wancheng wondered why she was overreacting. Majin told his squad the battle maniac caused this incident. He's a notorious thief from north of the Yangshan River. Majin said the battle maniac also stole his martial arts manual, so this case actually worked out great for him. Wancheng, with a serious expression, asked the Zen Sword Demon if a thief took their martial arts manual. Mirio said they had a past situation. Majin told his squad they'd start destroying all unorthodox faction signboards in Shaanxi connected to the battle maniac. Wancheng asked his captain what the Manhwa sect would do then. Majin explained that while they drew attention, the Manhwa sect would secretly infiltrate and check locations. Wancheng was surprised by the plan. Yanshin asked his captain if they had any justification to destroy the unorthodox faction's signboards. Mirio smiled hearing this, realizing his junior didn't know much about unorthodox martial artists. He explained the Empire doesn't recognize unorthodox factions. These groups even collect taxes in imperial territory. The Empire has a simple way to tell if a group is orthodox or not. It's about whether people willingly offer money or if it's stolen at knife point. Majin said unorthodox factions are country leeches. They're left alone because new ones appear even if you destroy the current group. The captain told Yanshin no justification is needed when attacking people like them. Our boy asked how many factions they'd attack. Majin said they'd start with 6 and he'd take 2. Yanshin said he'd go alone too. Majin asked if he was trying to claim all the credit, telling him it was too dangerous. Our boy assured his captain he could handle it. Majin explained that taking on an entire organization is different. Fighting a group has too many variables, it's not like a one-on-one fight. Yanshin told his captain he needed to experience these things himself. Majin knew our boy was right. He told him he'd assign him a mission in town. He revealed his target would be the Mantis sect in Lianhu, a part of Xi'an. He told him the group is quite atrocious, not hesitating to kidnap women and children. Majin told our boy his mission was to destroy the sect alone. Next, we see Yanshin walking in the forest. A man walked behind him, guiding him to Lianhu. The man told Yanshin he never expected him to go alone. He asked our boy to reconsider, saying the Mantis sect isn't to be trifled with. According to the man, the sect has over 10 men skilled in martial arts. It said even a single lower-ranked member can defeat a whole alley in Lianhu. Yanshin asked the man to tell him more about the sect. The man revealed the sect took over Lianhu's streets 3 years ago. They dragged away at least a dozen women to serve as maids. They're very vicious and skillfully manipulated the local magistrate. Yanshin asked the man if anyone had seen sect members use martial arts. The man said he heard they use all sorts of weapons. He saw sect members a few times from afar. They had some weird curved swords and normal swords. He said sect members were so fast, people struggled to see everything they did. They could cut off 2 heads with 1 slash. Yanshin realized these people had learned some martial arts, even without a developed Dantian. He turned and asked the man what the government was doing if so many people were captured. The man revealed the local magistrate ensures the Mantis sect has no problems since they're in cahoots. When Yanshin arrived at the county, he saw some people gathered. When he looked in front of them, he saw some young girls tied up. Some men with swords were harassing the young girls. Yanshin was annoyed by this sight. He said he now understood why the desolate fortress had to come. The men turned when they heard his voice. Our boy stepped out and asked the men if they were government troops. He asked them if these girls were criminals they'd tied up. A bald man holding a dagger threw it at Yanshin's head. Our boy caught the dagger. He activated the swift sword style of the radiant demon art. He threw the dagger back at the man. It hit his head. His friends were shocked. They thought Yanshin was just a kid with martial arts skills. One guy asked where he learned, saying his dagger throw looked off. He asked if he knew how to throw it right. A man in green stepped forward. He said Yanshin was super fast. He asked the name of his martial art. Our boy pulled his sword. He told the man that trick wasn't worth naming. The man liked Yanshin's sword. He figured their sect leader would reward him for it. As he thought that, Yanshin split his head with the sword. His teammates were stunned. Our boy rushed them. He tore them apart before they could even draw their swords. Everyone, even the guy who brought him, was shocked by how easily he handled them. The men on the other side quickly ran to the girls. They thanked Yanshin for saving them. The man who brought our boy was still pretty shocked by what he saw. Yanshin turned and asked him where the Mantis sect was. The man quickly pointed to a building. Our boy walked toward it. At the gates, he saw the Mantis sect sign. He kicked the gates open hard. The men inside were surprised to see a young boy burst in. The sect leader was surprised to hear a young boy like Yanshin killed their members. Our boy noticed the man's strange clothes. He wore a dragon robe, only for the emperor. Yanshin wondered if he was a rebel. The leader stepped down. He told his sect members to stay out of the fight. He said it had been a while since he used his sword. He told Yanshin he picked the wrong place for chivalry. He drew his sword after that. Our boy asked the old idiot his name. The leader laughed, saying there's no point giving his name to someone about to die. Yanshin told him he needed the sect leader's name to claim credit. The man smiled at this. He quickly charged our boy. Yanshin immediately realized he used a swift sword technique. He noticed he could see the leader's attack path. He wondered if he'd gotten stronger. He drew his sword and blocked the man's attack. He pushed the leader back when he blocked him. The man was shocked by Yanshin's attack's force. He looked closely at our boy. He knew he couldn't win a one-on-one. He told his men to attack our boy. They all rushed him. Yanshin looked around, seeing how many men were coming. He didn't seem bothered. The men attacked at once. Our boy easily dodged their strikes. He cut one down, then spun to block another attack. Some men tried to hit him from behind while he did this. Yanshin easily tore them apart before their swords could connect. They didn't even know they were cut. Our boy scanned his surroundings as he fought. He noticed he could see every attack's path. He decided to attack them. He moved into their group and struck them before they could hit him. He pushed forward, cutting down everyone in his path. He tore through the men around him and leaped out of their midst. He landed right in front of the leader. The man was shocked to see Yanshin. All he saw behind him was his members' blood everywhere. He was shocked by how many people our boy had killed. Yanshin remembered he had to subdue the leader before the whole sect. He gathered energy in his sword. He decided to treat his sword like a fist. He stepped forward and activated the second step of the Infinite Blossom Fist Strike, called Formidable Wall. The technique gave him a huge jump force. The sect leader didn't even see Yanshin get above him. Before he could react, our boy swung his sword and cut him down. His sword literally sliced through the man. It split his body. The poor guy fell to the ground. Yanshin announced he'd destroy the Mantis sect signboard. He turned and glared at the sect members after saying this. The men were terrified by his eyes. One of them told his teammate to get the Master Swordsman. Yanshin was surprised to hear this. He asked the man if he meant a Blood Master Swordsman. He asked if the Blood Flame cult was behind them. The men didn't know what to say. Our boy grabbed the man who told his teammate to call the Master Swordsman by his neck. He pushed him down and demanded he speak. The man told him the Master Swordsman was probably sleeping in the side building. Yanshin found that strange. A true Blood Master Swordsman would have sensed such a big fight. While he was thinking, someone threw an energy-covered sword at him. Our boy blocked the sword. It got shoved into the ground. Someone jumped over Yanshin and landed by the sword. He picked up his sword. He told our boy he was skilled. He hadn't expected him to sense his attack. Seeing the man's black and red hair, Yanshin realized he was a Blood Master Swordsman. The scene shifted to the past. Our boy talked to his captain, asking what he needed to do to become a blue-robe warrior. Majin smiled. He told Yanshin he needed 5 of something. He said he needed to slay about 5 Blood Master Swordsmen to rank up. He could become a blue-robe warrior regardless of age. Yanshin couldn't believe another Master Swordsman was right there. He told the man he was lucky. The cultist didn't get it. With a condescending look, our boy said he had 3 left. The cultist noticed Yanshin released his energy. He quickly took a stance. Our boy gathered energy around his leg. He crushed the ground. He charged at the man super fast. The cultist blocked the attack, but it pushed him back. Yanshin knew he had to finish the fight now. He knew this cultist was the Mantis Core's center. If the fight dragged on, his chances of winning would drop. The Master Swordsman gathered energy in his hand. He told Yanshin to die. Before his hand touched our boy, he activated Vortex, an Infinite Blossom Fist Strike technique. A lot of energy gathered around his sword, spinning fast. Our boy stabbed the Master Swordsman in the chest. The Master Swordsman was annoyed. He tried to move his hand. Yanshin pulled his sword from his chest. He told the cultist he wouldn't listen to his last words. The moment he said this, he beheaded him with a clean strike. The Bloodmaster Swordsman didn't stand a chance. The other sect members were shocked. They quickly realized the sect was finished. Yanshin released his energy. He advised them not to run. He glared at them intensely. The men were horrified by his look. Next, we see the townspeople thanking Yanshin. They couldn't believe he got revenge for them. The man who guided him held a child. With tears, he thanked our boy for his efforts. He told him he brought peace to his dead daughter. Yanshin didn't expect to see the man holding his dead child. He asked the man how things got this bad. He He said Jian was Zhongnan sect territory. The man composed himself. He told our guy the Zhongnan sect was fighting the tyrant sword tribe. This news surprised our boy. The man then said all martial arts schools under the Zhongnan sect had gone to Mount Zhongnan. Next, we see Yanshin heading back to the inn. He carried a sack. Walking, he thought about his guide's words. He realized the Zhongnan sect risked their lives against the tyrant sword tribe. This fight wouldn't end with just a few martial masters dying. Yanshin thought about his niece and elder brother at the sect. He knew he needed to go to Zhongnan. The 13 Skies, an unorthodox group, ruled the unorthodox faction. The desolate fortress's interference was necessary. Our boy told himself he could earn many credits by taking Tyrant Sword Tribe martial masters' heads. He believed his captain would let him go. While thinking, Yanshin stopped. He asked if anyone found traces of the battle maniac. The moment he asked, 2 people popped their heads from the bush. They ran to our boy. It was Qianzhu and Xian. Qianzhu said the battle maniac wasn't at the Mantis sect. Yanshin said that's a shame. Qianzhu praised his fight. He called it a splendid display of martial arts. He told our boy he's the future Radiant Demon Squad leader. He ignored this. He told Yanshin he could even become the Divine Sword Squad leader. He turned to Xian, saying this would broaden their sect's knowledge. The boy knew the man was telling him to work harder. He told Yanshin he felt restless often. He remembered saying he needed 5 moves to beat him. He asked our boy if he wanted to be his friend. He asked him if he was interested in the Manhwa sect's martial arts. He told Yanshin the desolate fortress wasn't far from the Manhwa sect. Our boy wasn't interested in what Xian said. He told the boy he had no business at the Manhwa sect. Xian was shocked by our boy's answer. Yanshin promised he wouldn't refuse to see him if he visited him at the desolate fortress. He told him he must learn new martial arts before each visit. Xian was shocked. The scene changed to the inn. The group noticed Yanshin enter. Miang said our boy's energy felt different. Mirio moved closer to check him. She told him he had a cut on his back. She asked him to sit. She said she'd help apply some balm. Majin asked Yanshin about the mission. Our boy placed the sack on the table. The group was surprised by the sack's contents. They couldn't believe it was a Blood Master swordsman's head. Majin never expected the Blood Flame cult to be involved. He couldn't believe they left a Blood Master swordsman in charge. Miang patted Yanshin's head. He told him this proved Jinping County wasn't a fluke. The captain couldn't understand the Blood Flame cult's move. He didn't know why they put Blood Master swordsmen in unusual places. The Zensor demon said this wasn't normal. Majin praised Yanshin for a great feat. He told him problems might be following him. He couldn't believe our guy solved everything, bringing back intel that could help the Murim. Yanshin told his captain he had something to say. Majin asked him to speak. Our boy then revealed he wanted to head to Mount Zhongnan. He explained to his captain that his niece worried him. Majin told him they'd just heard about the situation too. He told our boy Mount Zhongnan was super dangerous right now. He explained to Yanshin the Tyrant Sword Tribe was totally different from the Blood Flame cult, not a normal unorthodox group. Mirio told our boy the Tyrant Sword Tribe used both traditional martial arts and sorcery. She asked him to think of them as people obsessed with getting stronger. Majin agreed with Mirio. He told Yanshin they hadn't gotten any missions there, so they just needed to focus on their current tasks. Myung stepped in, reminding his captain that captains could issue mission orders if needed. Majin and Mirio were shocked. Myung spoke up then. Majin decided to be straight with our boy, explaining he didn't want to send him to Mount Zhongnan without knowing if he'd return. Yanshin was surprised by this. His captain explained that anyone in the desolate fortress knowing his talent would worry about that. Myung told our boy it was natural for people to want to recruit him, reminding him about the Mount Hua sect's invitation. Both Mirio and Wancheng knew Myung was right. Yanshin asked his captain why he couldn't separate personal and professional matters. He asked his teammates if that was the trust he'd earned in their squad. He reminded them he'd shown his capabilities, begging his captain to let him go. He asked him to log the mission as a solo one. Seeing Yanshin's expression, Myung told his captain our boy had made a checkmate move. Mirio hit him in the back when she heard that. After thinking, Majin told our boy he was right, deciding to give Yanshin a condition to allow his departure. He asked our boy to take one of his attacks. Mirio and Myung were shocked to hear this. Majin told our boy it was just one attack, saying he could dodge or block it. He promised to let him go if he managed it. The Sin Sword demon thought this was too much, calling out to her captain. Majin told her one needed this competence to stand at the top of the martial arts world. He promised Yanshin an extra reward if he could handle one of his attacks. Our boy accepted his offer. The scene changed, taking us outside the inn where Mount Hua sect members stood together. Qianzhu thanked Majin for letting them witness his duel. After thanking him, he moved closer to his team, telling Hyun it was a rare chance to see the Radiant Demon Squad captain's technique. Hyun found this odd, reminding Qianzhu that a black robe warrior from the desolate fortress should be his equal. Qianzhu agreed. He explained that Majin was very strong in close combat, even stronger than him. Hyun was shocked. Tianzu told him Majin's nickname is Hell Slaughterer, meaning he completely dominates the battlefield. Tianzu said many respected clan elders died by Majin's hand after their hypocritical acts. For a captain so skilled, even a small hand movement holds huge meaning. One attack could instantly end a life. Hyun couldn't believe what he heard. Unlike the 9 sects martial artist who seek swordsmanship's ultimate principle, Majin's martial arts were purely for fighting. Tianzu admitted our boy would struggle in this fight. He said no one his age could withstand a master like Majin's attack. Yenshin glared at his captain. He asked for some time. Majin told him to take all the time he needed. Majin was about to use a move a white robe warrior couldn't handle, so he advised Yenshin to sharpen his senses as much as possible. The desolate fortress has fewer than 30 black robe martial masters, but our boy felt no need for nervousness. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He released his energy, placed his hand on his sword, and told himself to simply show what he'd learned. When his eyes opened, they were covered with his energy. Our boy could see the energy around his captain. He told Majin he'd let him make the first move. The man smiled at this. When he simply raised his hand, a huge amount of energy gathered. Yenshin knew this was a ridiculously powerful palm strike, strong enough to easily break most fortress walls. Our boy realized he couldn't block such an attack. He had to dodge it. He quickly let go of his sword. The moment he released his sword, Majin charged like a lion after prey. He swung his palm at him when he got close. Our boy immediately saw his palm. He realized none of his learned mobility arts would let him escape. As he thought this, an idea hit him. He could take a single step. He focused his eyes on Majin's palm. While watching his palm, Yenshin carefully took a step and got behind his captain. Majin's attack destroyed the ground. Everyone was shocked our boy actually dodged the attack. Majin wasn't fazed. He asked Yenshin about the mobility art he'd just used. Our boy told his captain he simply walked because he saw a way to survive. He told Majin he'd name the technique the evading swift step. Majin smiled when he heard this. He stood up straight and announced he'd permit Yenshin to travel to Mount Zhongnan. Next, we're in a forest. Yenshin, wearing a blue robe over his white one, walked with Wanchang. As they moved through the forest, our boy remembered what happened at the inn. Miang took off his robe and gave it to him, saying he was lending it. Yenshin was surprised. He told him he didn't understand what the robe meant. The Genswar demon explained that wearing the robe over his white one, Miang was staking his honor, telling everyone Yenshin was a desolate fortress rising star. Mirio said he now commanded authority over the desolate fortress's white robes. Our boy couldn't believe Miang saw him as a rising star. A rising star describes the best junior in their rank. Miang told our boy to tell anyone who questioned him that the azure-eyed demonic swordsman recognized his abilities. He promised Yenshin no one would challenge him if he said that. Mirio told Yenshin he could use her name too. She said she also wanted to give him her robe. Our boy didn't expect that. The scene shifts to the present. Wanchang noticed the blue robe on a white robe warrior. He told Yenshin it looked good on him. Our boy said it felt a bit strange. Wanchang assured him he'd get used to it. Our boy thanked him for the encouragement. Wanchang didn't know why he was thanking him. He told Yenshin he was genuinely complimenting him. Next, the boys reached Mount Zhongnan's entrance. Martial artists were guarding it. Wanchang realized the rumor about their fight with the tyrant sword tribe was true. He never expected to find martial artists this far up the mountain. He thought they'd be at the sect's entrance. He and Yenshin approached the men. They were told to stop. One guy asked their origin, names, and reason for being there. Wanchang showed them his shoulder logo. He told them they were from the desolate fortress. The man glared at him. Our boy introduced himself. He gave his name. He said he was from the Radiant Demon Squad. Wanchang also introduced himself. The man asked if they planned to verify their identity just with their clothes. Wanchang pulled a desolate fortress tag from his pocket. The man said no one would believe the desolate fortress sent 2 young martial artists alone. Wanchang didn't know what to say. Someone told the man to stop being rude. The men turned when they heard this. They saw a man leaning on a pillar. That man was also a sect disciple. He told Yenshin and Wanchang their sect was at war. He said they couldn't accept people with unverified identities. Wanchang got angry hearing this. He released his energy, making the ground shake. The men got nervous. They asked if he was really from the desolate fortress. Wanchang smiled confidently. When he withdrew his energy, the men accused him of threatening Zhongnan sect disciples on Mount Zhongnan. Wanchang was surprised. Their behavior told Yenshin their fight against the tyrant sword tribe wasn't going well. Their pride as a great 9 sect was taking a hit, and now 2 young martial artists boldly claiming desolate fortress ties showed up. It was natural they'd feel offended. One man said he couldn't believe they were actually from the desolate fortress. He told them the situation there had been really bad lately. The man on the pillar warned them that if they were from desolate fortress, they'd face trouble. He said they couldn't be trusted in their great sect, claiming Desolate Fortress's glory days were long gone. Wanchang and our boy were stunned by this. Yanshin glared at the arrogant guy, hand on his sword. He told the man he didn't expect such rudeness to other martial artists without cause. He released his energy, taking a stance. With a serious expression, Yanshin advised the man to think before speaking. The Zhongnan sect disciples were shocked by our boy's energy. The man got angry hearing this. He drew his sword, telling Yanshin not to threaten them. The other men also drew their swords. Our boy saw this and instantly swung his sword, launching a very fast attack. The attack targeted the man by the pillar. He knocked the man's sword from his hand. The man was shocked, unable to react to the attack. Wanchang enjoyed their surprised faces. Yanshin returned his sword to its sheath. Right after he did this, someone told the disciples to stop. A woman leaped from the forest. Our boy sensed her presence the moment she appeared. The woman landed among them. Wanchang seemed shocked to see her. The disciples called the woman their senior. Yanshin didn't know her, but recognized her strength, judging her equal to Desolate Fortress's blue-robe martial artists. The beautiful woman faced her sect members. She expressed disappointment, unable to believe Zhongnan sect disciples would act and speak so rudely. She told the men they'd discuss this more when they returned to the sect. The men quickly apologized, saying they felt ashamed. The woman turned to Yanshin and Wanchang, apologizing for the men's behavior. Our boy noticed Wanchang wasn't speaking, still in shock. He decided to introduce himself to the woman, saying he was from the Radiant Demon Squad. Wanchang also introduced himself, stating he was in Yanshin's squad. With a smile, the lady introduced herself as Weiji Mayowa. Wanchang was surprised by her name, quickly realizing she was the Cloud Sword Dragon. The Cloud Sword Dragon is a martial master, rumored to have descended from the heavens by mistake due to her genius. Her reputation had spread worldwide. Wanchang said it was an honor to meet a world-renowned sword dragon. Yanshin apologized for his rude act of drawing his sword in their territory. Mayowa told our boy she saw her juniors preparing to attack him first. She apologized on behalf of her juniors. She said they'd waited too long and she'd take them to the main sect. She'd hear their visit details there. While she spoke, a disciple came down the stairs. The person called out to Yanshin. Our boy quickly looked up. He saw his elder brother. Yanshin's presence shocked the boy. Mayowa didn't get what was happening. Next, Yanshin's niece ran to him. She was super happy to see her uncle, giving him a quick hug. Our boy asked Haya if she'd been well. The girl couldn't believe her uncle was there, hugging him tight. Wanchang looked away to avoid awkwardness. An old man and Mayowa approached our boy. Yanshin released his niece and stood up. The Cloud Sword Dragon explained that the sect leader and supreme elder were out dealing with the Tyrant Sword Tribe's leader. Because Yanshin and Wanchang were guests from the Desolate Fortress, Mayowa had to bring the most senior person in the sect leader's absence. Our boy and Wanchang put their hands together, introducing themselves to the man. The man introduced himself as Zhang Yuyao. Wanchang was shocked by the man's name. He couldn't believe he was seeing the Zhongnan Sword Immortal. He bowed his head, showing respect to the Sword Immortal. Yanshin sensed this old man was stronger than Elder Yu Yao Xin, maybe even stronger than his grandfather. The Sword Immortal asked his age. Our boy told him he's 16. Yu Yao seemed to notice something about Yanshin. He asked our boy to look at something. When Yanshin turned, he saw a cliff with sword marks. Our boy looked closely. Mayowa asked the elder why he wanted an outsider to deal with the sword marks. She reminded him that their sect's long-time wish was to restore the lost martial art, the eclipse of the 9 suns. Yu Yao told her the sword ancestor wasn't from their sect. He said the ancestral grandmaster invited him as a guest after they became friends. In his old age, the sword ancestor carved his martial arts steps onto Mount Zhongnan. The Sword Immortal said they can't call the eclipse of the 9 suns the ultimate martial arts of the Zhongnan sect. He told the woman his days are numbered. He'd do anything to see his benefactor's sword arts again. He told Mayowa she's the only one talented enough to restore the eclipse of the 9 suns. He didn't want to burden her with his last regret. Mayowa reminded Yu Yao that even she couldn't understand the sword arts. She asked the elder what he saw in Yanshin, having just met him. Yu Yao turned to our boy. He asked Mayowa to look closely at him. Yanshin wasn't hearing anything they said. He was totally focused on the cliff. Mayowa was surprised our boy had entered a transcendent trance. She didn't expect him to fall into this state just by looking at the slashes on the cliff. A small blue circle appeared above Yanshin's head, showing he'd entered a comprehension state. Even without knowing the sword ancestor, Yanshin instantly recognized the cliff marks as sword slashes. He was sure the multiple traces carved into the cliff were remnants of sword strikes, not a human technique. Wanchang and the others moved closer to Yanshin. Yu Yao told Wanchang that the sword ancestor, who died 50 years ago, carved the strikes. Wanchang remembered the sword ancestor was Ouyang Qiong. The Sword Immortal revealed to Wanchang that the sword ancestor was a Tyrant Sword Tribe disciple, later expelled. He said these sword strikes held the essence of all the Tyrant Sword Tribe's sword techniques. He mentioned only the Desolate Fortress Master could match this. Wanchang couldn't believe Ouyang Qiong compared to the Fortress Master. Yu Yao revealed he was an orphan, starving and begging, but the sword ancestor carried him and raised him on Mount Zhongnan. Wanchang found this strange. He asked the sword immortal why he didn't learn the sword ancestor's martial arts, since he helped him join the Zhongnan sect. Yu Yao said it was the extent of his fate with his benefactor. He told Wanchang that's life. He said he wasn't talented enough for the sword techniques. It wasn't just him. Many other sect martial artists also tried to learn it. Unfortunately, the sword ancestor's techniques couldn't be learned just with great knowledge or experience. Wanchang looked at the cliff. He noticed something at the top. He squinted to read what was written. Someone wrote that if you respond appropriately, you'll get what you deserve. Yu Yao said everything depends on a person's talent. Their sect's hopes rested on Manhwa. She feels a lot of pressure, even if she doesn't show it. Manhwa carefully watched our boy. While she watched him, the small blue circle vanished from his head. The moment it disappeared, Yinshin returned to normal. He took a deep breath. Yu Yao called out to him. He asked what he saw. Our boy smiled when he heard this. He put his hand on his sword. Manhwa was surprised to see this. Yinshin drew his sword and took a stance. Wanchang smiled when he saw Yinshin draw his sword. The sword immortal was eager to see what he'd do. Before Yinshin could do anything, they heard a bell ring. Our boy had to put down his sword. The bell was ringing loudly. Manhwa said it's the Tyrant Sword Tribe. Wanchang was surprised. He couldn't believe the Tyrant Sword Tribe was on Mount Zhongnan. The elder asked them to wait there. Manhwa turned to our boy's older brother. She asked him to protect Hayao. The boy said he would. The moment she said this, Manhwa moved with the sword immortal. Yanshin asked his brother if this had happened before, if the elder and Manhwa would just fight like that. His brother explained they didn't know where or how they'd fight. He revealed martial masters often split up to fend off attacks. Yanshin realized the situation was worse than he thought. He couldn't believe the sword immortal, one of the 9 great sects' strongest, was left to protect the Zhongnan sect's base. Wanchang told our boy an unexpected incident occurred when they arrived. Yanshin asked if they should help. Wanchang explained it would complicate things. Messing with a 9 great sects martial artist's pride could cost someone their life. Wanchang reminded Yanshin about what happened earlier. He said the fight would have escalated if the Cloud Sword Dragon hadn't interfered. Our boy told his friend the Zhongnan sect didn't have much choice in their situation. Someone asked Yanshin not to speak carelessly about the Zhongnan sect. Our boy and Wanchang quickly looked up when they heard this. They saw the sect's disciples watching them. The men didn't look happy. Yanshin told the man who asked him not to speak carelessly that he wasn't being rude. The man said interpretations depend on the interpreter. He asked our boy if he really didn't know the Desolate Fortress would never be welcome anywhere. Yanshin realized the Desolate Fortress had many enemies. Wanchang reminded the man their sect's core martial masters were absent. He told him they should accept all the help they could get. The man and other disciples were annoyed. He asked Wanchang not to insult their sect. The moment he said this, everyone sensed a presence. When they turned, they saw some differently dressed martial artists. Yanshin noticed these men had stronger energy than the Zhongnan sect's disciples. The disciples were shocked to see the Tyrant Sword Tribe. Our boy remembered passing pavilions on their way to the sect. He didn't expect to see Tyrant Sword Tribe members inside the sect. The Tyrant Sword Tribe men looked around. Their leader stared at Haya. He quickly ordered his men to kill the girl, saying she inherited the Sword Immortal's teachings. The men quickly charged at the girl. The Zhongnan sect disciples drew their swords and stopped the men. Since his men were busy, the leader walked past them. He went to meet the girl. Our boy and Wanchang stood in front of Haya. The man was surprised to see people from the Desolate Fortress. He asked what they were doing in one of the 9 great sects. With a smile, he asked the boys if they were there to balance things now that the Tyrant Sword Tribe had the upper hand. Yanshin didn't expect these men to start a fight to create an opening to harm his niece. He turned and asked Wanchang to assist him. With a smile, Wanchang assured Yanshin he had his back. Our boy became confident when he heard this. He moved forward a little. The man smiled when he saw him moving closer to him. Yanshin took a stance and charged at him at crazy speed. The man blocked his attack, but was pushed back. The fighting martial artists could feel Yanshin's pressure. The man didn't expect our boy's attack to be so heavy. His helpers quickly ran to assist him. They aimed to attack our boy from the side, but they didn't know another martial artist was covering that area. Wanchang moved past Yanshin, drawing his sword to strike one of them. The person managed to block the blow, but he left himself open. Wanchang stabbed him in the chest. Before the other person could attack from behind, he spun around. Yanshin kept hitting the man with heavy blows. The leader found it hard to block his attacks. His attacks were also super fast. When our boy made a huge swing, the man dodged it, then tried to attack him from the side. He told Yanshin to die. Our boy dodged the attack with the evading swift steps, getting behind the man. He was incredibly fast. He stabbed the leader from behind. The man screamed. His subordinates and the Jungnan sect disciples were surprised by his scream. The leader couldn't believe a sword was in his chest. He never expected to lose to some brat. Our boy pulled out his sword, glaring at him. After handling the leader, Yanshin joined Wanchang to finish off the remaining enemies. The Jungnan sect disciples were shocked. It was barely a challenge for the two boys. The man who spoke rudely to Yanshin saw what he did for them. He saw our boy hug his niece. The man and his fellow disciples apologized for their reaction. They apologized for their rudeness. The moment they apologized, the Sword Immortal and the Cloud Sword Dragon arrived. Maiwa noticed the bodies of the Tyrant Sword Tribe members on the ground. Yoel told our boy the Jungnan sect owed him a debt. Yinshin told him he was just protecting his family. The elder revealed his niece would one day take over from Maiwa, becoming the future pillar of the Jungnan sect. He told him their sect still owed him a debt. Yinshin thanked him for saying this. He placed his niece down, then asked Yoel if he could train here for a bit. Maiwa and the elder glared at him. Yanshin told them no one needed to leave. He just wanted to hold on to his current thoughts. Yoel asked if he'd had a realization. He told the others to step back. Yanshin checked out the sword marks. He slowly drew his sword. The fight with the Tyrant Sword Tribe helped him solidify his realization. Maiwa focused completely on Yanshin. Our boy's sword gave off a small golden light. He carefully took a stance. The elder was surprised by this. When Yanshin moved, the energy vanished. He sighed, realizing he couldn't gather core energy as he wished. He told Yoel he wouldn't take the Sword Ancestor's legacy. He explained the sword mark suggested an open mind to viewers. He said that was his opinion. The elder said the Sword Ancestor's traces must show courage. This meant the sword mark went beyond martial and mystic arts. He thought the Sword Ancestor shared Yanshin's idea. He told our boy his belief must have reached him. He said the heavens blessed him with luck and talent. Yanshin got an idea from this. He reminded the elder that Ouyang Cheong came to the Jungnan sect later in life. Yoel confirmed it. Our boy said the Sword Ancestor must have been friends with Jungnan sect's martial masters. The sect's sword techniques were too distinct, not right for him. Even if he learned them, efficiency would be low. Maiwa didn't get it. She asked him to explain more. He told the Cloud Sword Dragon that restoring the eclipse of the 9 suns depended entirely on her. He said he could help her a little. Maiwa was surprised. She didn't expect his help restoring the sword technique. She asked what he meant. Yanshin asked her to wait a second. He said his training wasn't done yet. He moved near the cliff. He slowly drew his sword. Yanshin had a strange experience looking at the cliff's sword traces. It was an illusion, combining everything in heaven and earth into one ray. Everything inspired him. When he raised his sword, it glowed golden again. He took a stance, then skillfully swung his sword. He realized he just needed to extend his sword faster than his opponent. Yanshin now understood why martial arts like Taiji Enlightened Sword Arts and Plum Blossom Sword Arts were top tier. He swung his sword, creating a small golden ring around himself. Unlike single sword combat, these secret techniques' deep intent blends with inner energy and swordplay. This creates an unmatched harmony, never seen before. Maiwa couldn't believe her eyes. She'd never seen sword techniques like this. Tears streamed down the elder's face watching Yanshin. He felt like he was watching the Sword Ancestor. The swordplay was so beautiful. At sunset, Yanshin finished his technique display. Then he withdrew his energy. Someone asked if he had named this sword technique. Our boy turned and saw Wancheng. He looked at his sword and told his friend he'd call it the Radiant Sword Arts. Wancheng smiled. He thought the name was perfect. It meant the world's radiance, like the sun and moon, never fades. Yanshin hoped his life would be like that too. Next, we see a room. Our boy and Wancheng are resting there. Yanshin realized he gained a lot from this place. He saved his niece and created his own sword technique. Wancheng sipped the tea and was amazed. He said he wanted some golden tea for their return trip. He told Yanshin they got such good treatment from the Jungnan sect because of him. The moment he heard this, our boy remembered Wancheng charging the Tyrant Sword Tribe members. He remembered his scary face. He decided not to ask his friend anything. He believed everyone has their own stories. While he was thinking, someone knocked and called for him. Wancheng instantly recognized the voice. When our boy opened the door, he saw Manhua. She said she came to hear the rest of what he was about to say earlier. Yanshin asked if she meant the Sword Ancestor's sword traces. Next, we see them on the balcony. Manhua told our boy she wants to step out of the Sword Ancestor's shadows. She said she won't be able to face her sect if she does this. She said she wants to walk her own path in chivalry and swordsmanship. Yanshin told her he would cheer her on. He gently smiled at her after saying this. Manhua felt comforted. The woman realized she was too shameless asking for Yanshin's help so casually. She cleared her throat and put her hands together. She told our boy she wants him to help her restore the eclipse of the 9 suns. She promised to never forget the favor till she dies. Yanshin didn't know what to say to her. Manhwa asked if he would help her. Our boy smiled and asked her to follow him. He told her it wouldn't take long. Manhwa was happy. She told Yanshin that was pleasant to hear. On their way, the sword immortals saw them walking together. He watched them closely as they spoke. Yanshin took Manhwa to the cliff. He told her he would teach her the steps first. Manhwa asked which steps he meant. She couldn't believe our boy found clues to restore the technique and even figured out the steps. Yanshin explained the steps wouldn't be completely identical. He told her she would restore that part. Manhwa said nothing. She was more surprised that people with this level of talent exist. Yanshin didn't get why she stared so hard. He wondered if he needed to simplify his explanation. He told her the steps he'd teach were incomplete. He said it was her job to finish them. Yanshin figured it wouldn't be tough for her. But tracing a sword path's remnants and recreating its exact steps are totally different challenges. He told Manhwa he'd start now. The next day, Yoil told Yanshin that Manhwa fell to her inner demons after hearing his steps. Our boy was shocked to hear this. The sword immortal explained Manhwa was probably stunned by his talent. She's so talented that no one her age in Shanxi matched her. People always told her she had the greatest martial art talent. But for the first time, she felt her talent was nothing after seeing true talent. She was completely overwhelmed. Yanshin said that's pointless. He told the elder her skill level is much higher than his. Yoil said the heavens made a big mistake. He told our boy they didn't just give him amazing talent. They also gave him a heart that craves improvement. Yanshin said he felt embarrassed hearing this. While they talked, someone called out to them. It turned out to be Manhwa. The girl bowed her head to the elder. The sword immortal told her he knew she'd overcome her inner demons fast. Yanshin also greeted the cloud sword dragon. The girl composed herself and asked our boy if he could also use the sword technique. Yanshin said he could. Manhwa asked if he'd learn the eclipse of the 9 suns with her. She explained that learning together and helping each other would make him stronger faster than training alone. Yanshin apologized and turned down her offer. He told her he didn't even have enough time for his own sword techniques. Manhwa was surprised he declined. Our boy told her his sword techniques and eclipse of the 9 suns are similar. He said they could watch each other practice their techniques. He told her she could stay and watch him practice the radiant sword arts. Manhwa was shocked to hear this. She asked Yanshin if he'd really let her watch him train. Yanshin told her she could also practice the eclipse of the 9 suns. Manhwa couldn't believe he'd let her watch him practice the radiant sword art. She told our boy he's the better martial artist here. The sword immortal told him a person shouldn't be too generous. He said that's how the world works. Yanshin wondered why they were acting weird. The moment he thought this, he remembered someone telling him not to watch others practice martial arts. Yanshin realized he'd forgotten this because they always watched each other train in the Radiant Demon Squad. He asked the person why he shouldn't watch others train. Myung explained that watching someone else train might make them fight him to death. Yanshin reminded him their squad leader showed them his martial arts to teach them, and they trained together. Mirio explained it's different when martial arts can be shown without consequence. She told him a person's personal martial arts training shouldn't be shown. She advised him not to try looking at other people's training. She told him it's an unspoken rule in the Murim that no one should watch someone else training. Yanshin noticed the sword immortal, and Manhwa looked at him like a saint. He realized he'd caused a misunderstanding. When our boy took out his sword, Manhwa did the same thing. She copied his steps and made the same moves. The core energy use in the Radiant Sword Art and the Infinite Blossom Fist Strike differs. The Radiant Sword Art flows smoothly, unlike the Infinite Blossom Fist Strike, which destroys everything in one hit. No hesitation comes when you wield the sword, and everything felt through the blade connects to your body. Yanshin smiled, swinging his sword with skill. He said he could do this because he created the technique. He reminded himself he's the Radiant Sword Art's creator. Manhwa watched Yanshin's sword shine brightly. She initially made progress in the eclipse of the 9 suns, but then our boy's technique caught her attention. His sword technique looked simple, but Yanshin matched her proficiency. They both learned new things simultaneously, but their progress levels differed completely. While she watched him, Yanshin swung his sword incredibly fast. Manhwa noticed his speed had changed. Yanshin swung his sword many times from a simple stance. The girl watched each of his attacks glow brightly. Our boy decided to combine the swift sword style with the radiant sword art. Manhwa realized something as she watched this. She realized Yanshin was the dragon holding the magic pearl, not her. Next, we see our boy with Elder Ielkshin and another noble man. The elder thought fate worked in mysterious ways. She never expected the child she saw at the young manor's bloodbath to restore her husband's technique. The black-haired man with Yanshin is Ouyang Shin, the Western Heaven Sword Supreme. He leads the Zhongnan sect and is the son of the sword ancestor and Yu Ielkshin. Ouyang Shin called our boy the lightning genius. He told him he heard about him restoring his father's legacy and clearly teaching the steps. He also heard he saved the Sword Immortal's disciple. He told Yanshin he was grateful for his actions. He asked him to let them know if he needed anything from their sect. Yanshin told him he wanted to help fight the Tyrant Sword Tribe. In the next scene, the Sword Immortal watched Manhwa train. He watched her skillfully move her sword. She practiced her steps and movements. While swinging her sword, she suddenly stopped. She looked at her sword. Yue Elxin approached her. He told her she wasn't focused. The girl apologized for wasting his time. The elder asked if it was about Yanshin. Manhwa said it wasn't about him. She explained her heart was the issue. She wasn't jealous of our boy. She already fully acknowledged his skills. She just felt like the martial arts she'd tirelessly honed her whole life suddenly meant nothing. She told the elder the radiant sword art was just as good as the eclipse of the 9 suns. Yo Ilxin told her she was right. She told the elder that even though she trained with Yanshin, our boy surpassed 2nd star and reached 3rd star. She already found it hard to believe he created such advanced martial arts. Yet Yanshin progressed faster in a martial art he'd never learned than she had in the eclipse of the 9 suns, which she knew well. Yu Ilxin understood the girl's feelings. He told her Yanshin had become her goal. He explained that the lightning genius operates on a founder's level. He said it's natural for our boy to progress faster in martial arts he created. This logic applies to everything. He told Manhwa that creators are always best suited for their own creations. The girl said his talent must be unique. She realized she couldn't match it. Yu Ilxin told her that living in the same era as a founder like Yanshin could be a blessing. He said it depends on her mindset. He reminded her she also inherited the eclipse of the 9 suns. Manhwa said she did. She expressed her gratitude for it. The elder noticed her forced sincerity. He told her he had something he hadn't shared before. He revealed that Yanshin's byway acupoints, which connect to nature, were receiving too much energy. Even the most skilled masters would struggle to handle it. Manhwa asked the elder what he meant. The Sword Immortal revealed Yanshin didn't have much time left. The girl was shocked. The elder told her our boy was still trying his best to make his mark. Manhwa was surprised by this news. The Sword Immortal looked at a mountain. He told the girl he respected Yanshin, regardless of his martial prowess or age. The scene shifts to the Guanzhong Plain. We see the Zhongnan sect members standing there, and we also see the Tyrant Sword Tribe members on the other side. Yanshin was with the Zhongnan sect. He stared at a man in front of the Tyrant Sword Tribe. The man's sword radiated dark energy. The man was the Tyrant Sword Tribe leader. Guanzhong carefully looked at the enemies. He turned to Yanshin. He noticed our boy was smiling. He asked if something was wrong. Yanshin said he was fine. He hadn't expected Guanzhong to come, as he didn't have to. While the two groups stared, someone from the Tyrant Sword Tribe jumped out. The man landed in the basin in front and smiled. He raised his sword, introducing himself as Wai Muyuk, the 3rd disciple of the Tyrant Sword Tribe leader. He asked if anyone would fight him. The moment he heard this, Yanshin turned to Yangshin. He said he wanted to use the wish now. He said he respectfully requested, as the one who retrieved the Swordmaster's legacy, esteemed predecessor and husband of the Grand Elder. He told the sect leader he wanted to fight on their behalf as a Zhongnan sect guest. Manhwa was surprised to hear this. She quickly realized Yanshin was trying to leave his mark. The sect leader granted our boy's request. Our boy put his hands together and thanked him. He went to meet Muyuk. Everyone watched him. The Sword Immortal saw Yanshin as a martial arts founder trying to leave a historical mark as his life faded. He believed Yanshin was already a magnificent young man. As our boy walked towards him, Muyuk said the Zhongnan sect must have run out of luck. The moment he spoke, he recognized the boy and asked if he was from Young Manor. He drew his sword, telling Yanshin he should have killed him back then. With a smile, he said he was glad to see him again, but wondered if he thought things would go like last time. Yanshin just glared at him. Muyuk wanted to know what excuse his grandfather, the former Divine Sword Squad leader, would use to interfere in a life-or-death match. Yanshin ignored the idiot, turning to the group behind him, specifically the Tyrant Sword Tribe leader. He drew his sword, glaring at the man. Muyuk noticed Yanshin wasn't looking at him, got annoyed and charged in anger, calling him a bastard and telling him not to be distracted. Our boy easily blocked the attack. When their swords met, a small energy burst happened around them. Yanshin held his position, not getting pushed back. Muyuk told him he wasn't too bad. Yanshin didn't care for the compliment. He mentioned a noble once told him you can tell a person's disposition by their sword technique's wind. Now that he'd learned proper sword technique, our boy understood what that person meant. Muyuk was annoyed by this. Yanshin decided to use the radiant sword art, and his sword shone brightly. He pushed Muyuk back, then charged at him. Muyuk managed to regain some balance. Before he could attack again, Yanshin charged at crazy speed, making a clean cut on his neck. Manhwa and the sect leader were surprised. Muyuk turned to see Yanshin. He didn't know when his head was cut off. He simply fell to the ground. Yanshin looked up at the tyrant sword tribe leader. He pointed his sword, telling him he'd take one of his arms. The leader just smiled when he heard this. The Shounen disciples screamed, their morale boosted by Muyuk's death. They told Yanshin he deserved the Lightning Genius title, amazed by the radiant sword art. It was as beautiful and mysterious as they'd heard. The tyrant sword tribe members were shocked, unable to believe Muyuk was defeated so easily. While they were in shock, their leader ordered them to kill everyone, and they quickly charged at the Shounen disciples. Wanchang and the disciples also charged, all heading into the basin. Among the tyrant sword tribe, a huge man called our boy a bastard. Seeming very interested in killing him, Yanshin drew his sword. He sensed the old man's immense power, realizing this martial master was beyond his skill. He wondered if this was Muyuk's grandfather. The old man then declared he'd kill him. Yanshin retorted that his grandson wouldn't have died so quickly if he'd been a better teacher. That comment angered the man, who then leaped to attack our boy. Before the man could land, the sword immortal moved past Yanshin, charging at him. He struck the man mid-air. The man managed to block the blow, but the impact pushed him back. The sword immortal landed right in front of our boy. He turned to Yanshin, saying he'd secured his part of the fight because of him. Right after saying that, he charged at the man. Yanshin surveyed the area, seeing everyone fighting for their lives. Since it was a group battle, he needed to find an opponent he could handle. While he was looking, some enemies rushed him. Our boy's sword glowed brightly as they approached. One of them, holding a spear, tried to stab our boy with its tip. Yanshin used his sword sheath to block the attack. He then used the radiant sword art, beheading the man so fast he didn't even realize he'd died. Another man charged at our boy. Yanshin easily cut him down. He moved past that man, swiftly killing two more. Two other men tried attacking him from both sides. Our boy dodged the first sword by ducking low. While still low, he blocked the other man's attack. He killed both men simultaneously. Our boy had now killed 6 people. The moment he looked up, someone tried to sneak up from behind. That man lost his head before he could stab Yanshin. Wanchang was the one who killed him. Yanshin smiled when he saw his friend. They both got into position, attacking enemies and watching each other's backs. In the next scene, Yanshin and Yanshin are walking. She told him they won the fight against the tyrant sword tribe thanks to him. She explained that acting first in war is crucial. Yanshin told her she was flattering him. Yanshin heard that several martial masters in their sect wanted to talk to our boy. She asked him if it was difficult to manage them all. Yanshin remembered when one of Yanshin's men greeted him, saying it had been a while. The man revealed he'd secretly hidden some grain tea from his master and seniors, asking Yanshin if he'd like some. Another martial master met Yanshin later that day. He was annoyed to find out our boy had already received many duel requests, not expecting to be too late. Another martial master met Yanshin, saying his enforcement pavilion juniors were interested. He told Yanshin he'd blocked them off for him and asked if they could discuss sword techniques. Wanchang was surprised by how many martial masters visited Yanshin. Walking, the elder told Yanshin she could explain his clan's destruction if he wanted. She mentioned his second brother already knew. She suggested he hear about it after the big fight. Aelshin noticed Yanshin's mood hadn't changed, assuming it didn't affect him. Our boy agreed with her suggestion. The scene shifts to Guanzhong Plains. We see the tyrant sword tribe leader and his forces on one side. The men stared at their enemies across from them. The sword immortal told Manhwa this fight wouldn't be easy. He noted all the old birds and the small elder council of the tyrant sword tribe were present. Manhwa realized winning this fight would end the war. The sword immortal asked Manhwa to watch the disciples. She accepted. She turned to Yanshin, wishing him good luck. Our boy asked her to stay safe. The sword immortal turned to Yanshin, advising him to watch out for the vicious Rakshasa swordsman, Miyuki's grandfather. Yanshin asked if he meant the tyrant sword tribe elder from last time. The sword immortal revealed the vicious Rakshasa swordsman kept glancing at him during their fight. Though senior to the tyrant sword tribe leader, the vicious Rakshasa swordsman acts like the leader's limbs in battle, his right-hand man. Yanshin thanked the sword immortal for his concern. As the two groups stared, their leaders raised swords and ordered an attack. The two groups quickly charged each other. An enforcement pavilion disciple ordered others to deploy their sword formation now. The other disciples quickly attacked the tyrant sword tribe. Yanshin easily handled those who came near. While he fought, he sensed someone approaching. He quickly turned, seeing the vicious Rakshasa swordsman walking toward him. With a smile, he told Yanshin he wouldn't survive today. He said he'd cut off his head and offer it at his grandson's grave. Our boy asked if all unorthodox martial artists behaved this way. He couldn't believe the man sought him out while Zhongnan's sect martial masters killed his subordinates. Yanshin called the man shameless. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman got annoyed. He charged at our boy, saying he'd tear him apart. He swung his sword at Yanshin. Our boy blocked the attack, but the impact was crazy. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman charged Yanshin with his palm. Our boy was surprised to see his hand coming. He quickly raised his palm, blocking the attack but getting pushed back. He couldn't believe his energy wouldn't gather after just one clash with the vicious Rakshasa swordsman. He realized this martial master was beyond his current level. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman smiled at Yanshin like he knew his thoughts. Before he could attack, the Cloud Sword Dragon charged from behind. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman blocked that attack. Another disciple charged, but he still blocked it. 3 disciples were attacking him. Yanshin watched their fight. The blue circle of comprehension appeared above his head. He decided to analyze the vicious Rakshasa swordsman's techniques, how he held his sword, also how his muscles moved when he put energy into his sword. Yanshin slowly analyzed his behavior and habits when using burst discharge. He wanted to see how the man moved when defending. Yanshin promised himself he'd figure out everything he did. While they fought, Manhwa charged from above. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman gritted his teeth in anger. Yanshin immediately realized Manhwa was making a suicide attack. Before her sword touched the vicious Rakshasa swordsman, he hit her stomach with his palm. Manhwa forcefully used her sword to cut off his arm, then fell to the ground. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman quickly made a huge swing, pushing everyone around him back. He watched his hand fall to the ground. He told the Cloud Sword Dragon that she lived up to her reputation. Manhwa wasn't ready to give up. She grabbed her sword. When she raised her head, she saw the vicious Rakshasa swordsman about to cut her down. Before he could do anything, Yanshin charged from behind. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman sensed his presence. With a smile, he asked Manhwa to wait right there. He turned and swung his sword at Yanshin. Our boy already knew the move he'd make from that position. He used his sword to brush it aside and landed a huge cut on the vicious Rakshasa swordsman. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman was shocked by what happened. A large amount of blood gushed from his body. Manhwa and Ielkshin's disciples who fought him were shocked by what happened. The vicious Rakshasa swordsman's head fell to the ground. Immediately, Yanshin's blue circle of comprehension disappeared from his head. While the tyrant sword tribe leader fought Yanshin, he sensed something had happened to his right-hand man. Yanshin pointed his sword at the tyrant sword tribe leader, reminding him of his promise to take his arm. The tyrant sword tribe leader glared at our boy. Wanchang approached his friend, shocked to see the vicious Rakshasa swordsman's body on the ground. He took a deep breath, then announced that the Zhongnan sect's guest, the lightning genius, had beheaded a tyrant sword tribe elder. The Zhongnan sect's martial masters were shocked that our boy took out the vicious Rakshasa swordsman. Tyrant sword tribe members couldn't believe this happened. They couldn't believe a child killed the vicious Rakshasa swordsman. Ilexian couldn't believe what she heard, not expecting Yanshin to be the one who took out the vicious Rakshasa swordsman. Her disciple raised his hand, announcing the vicious Rakshasa swordsman was dead. Zhongnan sect members screamed in excitement, their morale boosted. They fearlessly charged the tyrant sword tribe members, tearing them apart easily. Some of them started running. The sword immortal turned to see Yanshin. He hadn't expected our boy to kill the enemy he'd warned him about. He watched his sect members charge the tyrant sword tribe members. Ielksin pushed the tyrant sword tribe leader back with his sword. The moment he did this, a tribe member charged and pushed him back. The man told the tribe leader that the Zhongnan sect's momentum was serious, informing him the situation was dangerous, and they should retreat for now to prepare for what's next. The tribe leader didn't like this at all. While struggling to hold Ielksin back, the man called out to his tribe leader. The tribe leader turned to see Yanshin, watching our boy kill one of his members. Yanshin glared at him. He knew the tribe leader was too powerful for him to face. Even a mere glare from him could shake a person's soul. Yanshin watched the tribe leader as he ran away. He told himself he'd defeat him in 4 years, as the tribe leader ordered his men to retreat. The scene shifts to the Zhongnan sect, where the sect leader gives Yanshin a plaque. The plaque is the floating cloud token. Showing this token to Zhongnan sect-affiliated groups ensures the person receives utmost respect. Yanshin asked Yanshin to let him know if he ever needed his sword to fight for him, telling him he'd help him once to resolve any issues, even political ones in the desolate fortress. Yanshin put away the token, thanking the sect leader. He told Ielkshin it was time she explained why his clan was wiped out. Ielkshin revealed to our boy that everything started with the World Tree. Yanshin didn't know what the World Tree had to do with this. The elder explained, it's a divine tree that sustains the world, with all creation and existence laws firmly anchored by its mystical energy. The young clan's land was extremely fertile, and the World Tree's roots stretched far enough to reach beneath the young estate. There's even a saying that the desolate fortress leader's formidable martial power comes from consuming the World Tree's fruits. Yanshin asked the elder about the young clan's annihilation. She explained that the tyrant sword tribe and blood flame cult opposed the desolate fortress, so destroying a small clan like Young was justified for them. Aelksin and her disciples were nearby. receiving a letter from the desolate fortress lord requesting Yongclan protection. They failed, unfortunately. Now, Sinya County was a wasteland, thanks to those two groups. Aelxin told our boy she felt immense guilt toward him, his brother, and his niece. He didn't know what to say. The scene shifts. Yanxin and Wanchang are outside with everyone. Our boy patted his niece's head. She started crying. Yanxin told her to get stronger and find him. He said she could visit the desolate fortress once she became a martial master. Manhwa asked our boy if she could also visit him. Yanxin told her she could come if she wasn't on a mission. He also wanted to learn martial arts with her. The Sword Immortal said the Yangtze River's downstream water finally converged. He found it heartening. He told Yanxin this brought joy to an old man like him, who should be thinking about retirement. Our boy told the man he looked like he'd live another 100 years. The elder told Yanxin he hoped his wishes came true. Our boy gently smiled hearing this. He and Wanchang bowed together. They said their goodbyes and started their journey. The scene shifts to an inn. A man was telling everyone the Manhwa sect got secret aid from the desolate fortress. He claimed the 9 great sects and the desolate fortress were fading. Only the Zhongnan sect, who defeated the tyrant sword tribe, held influence in Shanxi. A martial artist sitting opposite the man poured liquor and told him to listen. He offered a tip for his first time in the Murim. Keeping quiet was key to survival there. The man was annoyed. He stood up, asking the martial artist if he was calling him a first-timer. He grabbed his sword, asking his friend if he'd said anything wrong. He thought the desolate fortress must be weak since they couldn't defeat the battle maniac. The martial artist gently smiled at this. The man's friend said he heard the Azurite demonic swordsman lost an eye. The fat man claimed a blue-robe martial master from the desolate fortress was worthless. With a smile, he told his friend it was just an empty reputation. Immediately after he said this, someone threw a chopstick onto his table. The man was shocked by the chopsticks. The martial artist and the women with him quickly looked up. With a serious look, Yi Engson asked the idiot to repeat what he'd just said. Wanchang lifted our boy's robe, showing the man the desolate fortress symbol on it. The man was shocked our boy was from the desolate fortress. The martial artist and the women stared at Yi Engson. Wanchang smiled at the man's expression. The inn went silent. Everyone was wary of our boy and Wanchang. Yi Engson walked up to the man. With a scared look, the man told Yi Engson he hadn't intended to insult the desolate fortress. Yi Engson stared at him, saying he didn't care about that. He put his hand on his sword, asking the man to explain how the Azurite demonic swordsman lost his eye. The man got nervous, quickly telling our boy the battle maniac did it. He added that the Bloodflame cult supported the battle maniac. The man claimed several Bloodmaster swordsmen and one emissary from the Bloodflame cult fought the Radiant Demon Squad. The Azurite demonic swordsman got hurt protecting a commoner family. Yi Engson gave the man a terrifying glare. The man became scared, bowing his head and apologizing to our boy. Our boy decided to release him. He told him to keep eating and pay the innkeeper for the table. The man thanked Yi Engson. Every martial artist in the inn watched Yi Engson. The man with the women knew our boy could act arrogant with his skill. He realized Yi Engson was a dignified martial master from a prestigious sect. Before Yi Engson and Wanchang sat, the man approached them, asking Yi Engson if he was the lightning genius. He told our boy he recognized him as the desolate fortress's next star. He said he knew him because he wasn't the White Kylan. The man introduced himself as Jin Yul of the Jin clan from Shangxi. Yi Engson gave the man his name. Jin Yul mentioned hearing about the desolate fortress's rising star, known for his amazing martial arts. He told Yi Engson he heard he was active in Shangxi. The two women smiled at our boy when they heard this. Wanchang told Jin Yul he had sharp ears. Jin Yul thought Yi Engson and Wanchang were going to Xian because they belonged to the Radiant Demon Squad. He asked the boys if he could travel with them. Yi Engson hadn't expected this. Jin Yul explained he truly wanted to befriend the desolate fortress's martial masters. He apologized for being too direct at their first meeting. Yi Engson asked him how he knew their destination. Jin Yul explained that after the Zhongnan sect and Tyrant Sword Tribe clash, the Radiant Demon Squad and Manhua sect became the hottest topic in Jianmerim. He told Yi Engson everyone watched them. Even small and mid-tier martial artists knew what was happening. Yi Engson glared at the man. Jin Yul just smiled back. Our boy poured himself a drink, telling Jin Yul they'd leave after a quick meal. Jin Yul and the two women bowed their heads, thanking Yi Engson. The scene changed to the forest. Wancheng told the women how he announced Yi Engson beheaded the vicious Rakshasa swordsman. With a proud look, he said his roar was as strong as the Shaolin lion roar martial art. He turned, telling the women every martial artist on the battlefield looked their way. He told them they should have seen it. Jin Yul told Wanchang a desolate fortress martial artist wouldn't lie. He assured Wanchang he believed him. One woman asked Yi Engson if he truly beheaded the vicious Rakshasa swordsman alone. Our boy told the woman they took turns fighting him. He said the Cloud Sword Dragon, Neutral Spirit Fist, and Cliff Swordsman had already weakened him. Wanchang told the woman he handled the other warriors. He said Yi Engsen's dazzling blade delivered the final blow. Jin Yul and the women laughed when they heard this. While walking, Yi Engsen suggested they take a short break by a lake. Wanchang announced he'd hunt for wild animals. He told them they needed to meet. The two women turned to him. They said they'd follow. Wanchang was hunting, so Yi Engsen filled his bottle. Jin Yul sat behind him. He asked our boy if he used his left hand. Yi Engsen replied he wielded his sword right-handed. He'd only trained a little in fist arts. Jin Yul pulled a small dagger from his clothes. He charged Yi Engsen from behind. He figured his left flank was a weak point. He swung his sword at Yi Engsen, a confident smile on his face. Before his sword hit our boy, someone cut his neck from behind. It was Wanchang. Jin Yul's head fell into the lake. Water touched his hair, revealing red roots. Wanchang and Yi Engsen weren't shocked. Wanchang expected the man was a blood flame cult assassin. Yi Engsen asked about Jin Yul's companions. Wanchang revealed the girls were officials' daughters. He said they'd reached the afterlife. Wanchang slit both their throats. He told our boy they'd reach their destination in half a day. The scene shifted to Xian. Miang wore an eye bandage. He praised Yi Engsen for an unbelievable merit. He didn't expect Yi Engsen to slay a 13 Skies elder. He told our boy even he hadn't done that. Yi Engsen and Wanchang were shocked he'd lost an eye. They couldn't believe the rumor was true. They asked about his eye. Miang didn't know what to say. Mirio told our boy Miang wasn't the only one in trouble. She said it was reckless to go against a tyrant sword tribe elder. She was relieved Yi Engsen wasn't hurt. Yi Engsen asked Mirio what happened. He found it odd their squad leader wasn't there. Mirio revealed Majin pursued with the Sword Saint and Manhwa sect martial masters. She said the Blood Flame cult masterminds had revealed themselves. She didn't know what tricks the Blood Flame cult would try with the Plum Blossom Pill. She revealed support from the Desolate Fortress would arrive soon. Yi Engsen asked her about Miang's eye. Mirio sighed. She revealed the Battle Maniac used Tang Clan flying explosives. It happened against 3 Bloodmaster swordsmen. Miang could have dodged, but a civilian house was behind him. Miang had no choice but to strike the explosive down. He laughed nervously as Mirio told them what happened. While they talked, someone threw an explosive into their room. The group was shocked by the explosive. It caused a huge explosion in the inn. Miang quickly picked Wenchang up, carrying him out instantly. He looked at the inn and said their squad leader wasn't working hard enough. He turned and saw Yi Engsen and Mirio land together. When Yi Engsen raised his head, he saw men coming towards them with swords. He saw a one-armed man standing while others charged. Yi Engsen immediately realized this man was the Battle Maniac. Our boy asked his teammates to handle the others. He said he'd handle the Battle Maniac. Miang and Wenchang were surprised. The Battle Maniac smiled seeing Yi Engsen approach. He knew only one person in the Radiant Demon Squad wore a blue outer robe and white inside. He knew he was looking at the lightning genius. He watched Yi Engsen draw his sword. He thought our boy's title made him too proud. He asked Yi Engsen if he knew who took the Azurite demonic swordsman's eye. Yi Engsen asked the Battle Maniac why he was really there, asking if he hadn't already taken the Plum Blossom Pill. The Battle Maniac took a stance, telling Yi Engsen he came for the Azurite demonic swordsman's head. Our boy warned him he'd anger the Sword Saint and the Radiant Demon Squad leader by being there. The Battle Maniac lifted his missing arm. He asked Yi Engsen if he understood what a martial artist's hand meant to him, telling him to stop asking dumb questions. He told our boy he spoke to him because he heard he showed potential, but said he was just like other fools. Yi Engsen channeled energy into his sword, using the Radiant Sword Art to strike the Battle Maniac. The Battle Maniac dodged the strikes and rushed our boy, appearing behind him. He hit our boy with a perfect grasp technique. Yi Engsen spun around, blocking the attack with his sword. He stepped back a bit. The Battle Maniac was shocked by our boy's footwork, certain it was the noble race's style. He quickly realized his mistake, knowing the noble race's martial art couldn't be copied. He saw Yi Engsen was using a totally different martial art. Our boy told him he talked too much. The Battle Maniac smiled at that. He told Yi Engsen he heard his family was buried on the mountain behind their clan's estate. He asked our boy if he ever wondered what happened to his land after he left. Smiling, he asked Yi Engsen if he expected his hometown to be untouched after making an enemy of the Blood Flame cult. He told our boy they dug up the mountain and burned all the bodies. Yi Engsen was stunned by this news. He remembered the maid waking him for breakfast. He remembered his first brother and his wife. He remembered his father calling him his son with his last breath. Yi Engsen unleashed his energy at that thought. With a cocky grin, the Battle Maniac asked our boy if he thought he could win. Yi Engsen pondered what would make a martial artist despair. First, when their masters, seniors, juniors, or they themselves face death. Second, when their body prevents them from doing martial arts. Yi Engson considered which situation fit a martial arts-obsessed warrior best. Our boy didn't think cutting off limbs would be enough. The battle maniac charged him while he was thinking. Yi Engson put his sword away, using his palm to block the battle maniac's attack. The battle maniac was annoyed Yi Engson used a palm technique against him. He attacked our boy faster. Yi Engson blocked every one of his strikes. Before he could launch a big attack, Yi Engson grabbed his wrist with an angry look. The battle maniac asked Yi Engson how he knew his technique. Our boy told him he improved his technique. That news really bugged the battle maniac. He couldn't believe our guy instantly stole his secret martial art and then improved it. Yi Engson loved his expression. He knew this was perfect to make the battle maniac despair. For martial artists, their art is their life's work, built over years. Yi Engson basically trashed the battle maniac's whole life. He even showed him a better version of his own art. Our boy got close to the battle maniac and asked if he wanted to learn the improved version. That shocked the battle maniac. Yi Engson smiled and said he couldn't teach him. The battle maniac screamed in pain. Yi Engson let out some energy, then tightened his grip on the wrist. He broke the battle maniac's wrist. The poor guy screamed in agony. Yi Engson watched him suffer.